Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly DLC. I'm one of your hosts, Karosh, joined always by my co-host, Daniel Vargas.
I'm a survivor.
And his Destiny's Child, Daniel Jang.
We are the Walking Dead.
And we are the Walking Dead, as he says. If you're not familiar with us, we come to you each and every week on Mondays to podcasting services of your choice or YouTube, if you're watching the video. And we sit around a table. We have some fun. We talk about nerdy stuff, comics, games, movies, everything in between, recent events, in regards to all those things. And we hope you have fun with us. If you do, let us know. Leave a review or some feedback anywhere that you do enjoy this. We'd always appreciate to hear from fans or viewers, or both. You could be a fan and a viewer. I don't mean to separate you two, or let's just with that, we're gonna start with the chat this week, at my request. Guys, how have you been?
I've been good. I finally got around to watching like 2 episodes of Love, Death, Robots.
You had like an hour and a half to put aside for that, to finally mentally prepare yourself for an hour, and then it was the 2 were like 10 minutes.
One of them was 10, the other one was 8. There's a lot of time.
That time you found.
Man,
I'm glad you found it. Did you like them or what? What was
yeah. So the first one I saw was I keep forgetting the first name. It's something blue. Zima Blue or Zima Blue.
Zima Blue.
And I swear I've seen this somewhere. I have no idea where I've seen it. But I've seen this. Yeah, it's like deja vu, and it could be like that. It feels like it's deja vu, but that story, specifically the blue, is so familiar to me. But I really like that one. And then the one I liked even more was the following one, which was Ice Age.
The Topher Grace one?
And this was the, Tobey Maguire. No, what's his name?
Topher Grace.
That's his name?
Venom?
Yeah.
That 70s show?
70s show? Topher Grace?
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like that's not his name, but sure.
And Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
Yeah, the chick who plays Ramona. Wow.
Is that her name?
It's like what is that word when when people are confusing Shazam with Kazam?
Yeah, there's an effect. It's some effect. I know what you're talking about.
Anyways,
yeah.
I like that concept. Like it reminded me of Indian in a Cupboard.
Yeah.
Or whatever, cupboard.
No, it's Indian in a Cupboard.
Cupboard. So yeah, I liked it. It was so quick. It was like,
yeah.
Well, at first I was
the
like,
humor was weird.
This is happening really fast, and I'm like, oh well, it's an 8-minute video. So I was like, they kind of pushed it in, and I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And then I have not touched Anthem whatsoever.
Rip. Yeah. For now, I mean, you never know.
Yeah, if I see like a huge patch and everyone's like, love it.
It's nice though on one side that if they do make some changes, it sounded to me like all of year 1 content was free. So if they do entice you in something, it's not like a paywall where you have to be like, I gotta buy into this now again.
That was one of the biggest things. Is I had an option to either get Division or to get Anthem, and Anthem was like, they were like, the whole first year's content is going to be free. And I'm like, you know what?
It's enticing.
Yeah, I'm going to get them. And it was just like, I wanted to give that a try because
the space stuff. Yeah, the mechs.
Fucking mechs.
Fucking mechs.
But
you can fuck in mechs.
And mechs fucked me up.
Whoa. I want to play this game now.
And then been playing World of Warcraft.
Okay.
I mainly main Horde characters. And I'm actually checking out. I'm checking out the Alliance side now, like that whole story of how that works and stuff.
You've never done Alliance?
I mean, not up to this point. I've like played Alliance, but like now with this whole new.
How many can you have at once? Like how many character slots can?
So each server, I believe, allows up to either 10 or 12 characters. And then you have a max of like 50 or 60 characters.
Across all servers?
Across all servers.
Okay.
Yes, there is a max limit you can have amount of characters.
Have you reached that limit?
No, 50? Not even close.
Okay.
Not even on a server. Like I have I've made like level 1 characters to hold names, but I never even ended up using them. Okay. So like I think I did like a cleaning one at some point. And I deleted all. I'm like, people can have this name now.
The Foolio. Someone has the real Instagram.
I'm never gonna live that down.
Nope.
And then what else? I did something else. I bought my tickets for Endgame. So I'm excited for that. I did
multiple tickets.
I did just to secure seating.
Oh.
No, I bought just one ticket, but I bought ones with the seating, reserve seating, just so I don't have to worry about it. You know, like I don't
100%. Like as much as fun as it was waiting in line with the crowd, I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, that's like in order to be at the seat I want, that's too much effort.
Yeah.
And the convenience of being like, I showed up 10 minutes before this. I got my seat. I'm set. Like that is such a nice. Like I love that about these theaters. I agree.
You get food delivered to you
in the theater,
but no drink.
Not with this one.
Other than that, the date for when I'm gonna get a new tattoo is slowly getting closer. It's 2 weeks out. It's the day after I watch Endgame.
Ooh. Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
The gems.
So
Gets a new one each month. Just new gem put in. Cool. Jang, what have you been up to?
No sleep.
No sleep. Crypto Dancer. Man, that game's hard, man.
Did you play that off stream?
I played off stream.
It feels like it'd be really fun.
I can master level 1 pretty easily. This World 2. I heard World 3 is hard. That's like the wall. I can't even beat World 2. And it's just fucking hard. So I don't know how they're going to like do it for Nintendo, that Zelda one.
Whenever I feel like you have a hard time with a game, it entices me to pick it up and be better than you.
Did you play Sekiro?
I have.
As far as
that game's too hard for me.
I'm playing Sekiro. Fucking it. Do you know how to
Genshiro game? I heard you say that like 100 times on one night. I'm kind of like putting you on one screen while I'm doing another game or watching stuff, and then like I'll hear you say other things, but that wasn't Genshiro game, and I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? There's no one here.
I was super worried about that boss because I follow a streamer at Twitch Hollow. Remember, I mistook someone for someone.
Yeah. Oh,
so I mistook this guy plays Dark Souls Mastered. Yeah. And he was stuck on Genshiro for 3 days. And I was like, fuck. 3 hours, I beat him.
Damn. Shade.
But it's a different game. It's not like Dark Souls. So I could see why. It favors people who play Bloodborne. Like it's very, you got to be aggressive.
Well, I think that posture system is interesting. And then I haven't gotten far enough to make this significant gameplay mechanic be in my face as much, but the whole, you can't really grind levels and be overpowered for a fight. I think that's an interesting way of like controlling how the game flows for people. And then the whole revive thing and everything.
Very similar to like you can't get powerful unless you beat a boss. That's what's crazy, and it's hard to beat a boss.
Yeah.
Like it kind of reminds me of Blood Level 4 is still harder, but it kind of reminds me of Blood Level 4 run.
Okay.
But do you know how to beat have you seen people play the folding monkeys boss? There's these monkeys you have to catch. Like it's fucking hide and seek.
That's what I saw you, I think, in the morning. I was like, he's like, I can't catch these.
This is what kept them up all night. Catching monkeys.
No, that didn't.
I just caught that glimpse of that. Yeah. So
do you know how they? Okay. So like it's monkey. See one can hear really well. One can't. He can't see. One can see really well, and then one has a loud mouth, and he like bangs on a drum if you get close to him. So there's 3 monkeys. You just have to hit him once. Or actually, you might have to do a death blow. But you have to sneak up on them. But they're fucking hard to catch because each one's looking out for each other and banging the fucking thing. And
so one of them's got the other's back.
But there's a 4th monkey after you get all of them. And I'm not gonna say the spoiler, but what a fucking troll! Like
that 4th monkey.
That 4th monkey is a fucking troll because you'll see footsteps. I'm like, what the fuck? Like he's fucking close, and you can hear him. It's like, what the fuck? This doesn't make any sense, dude. Like I'm like trying to figure it out in my head, and I figured it out. It's fucking genius. It's fucking, man, Hidetaka Miyazaki, you're a fucking troll, dude. Oh my god. You could kill this monkey right off the bat. That's how fucking crazy it is. I don't want to say it, but
Damn.
Very smart. Very, very, very fucking smart.
He's just going to like drop off a cliff. It's been on him the whole time. He's like, monkey dead. Okay.
Like Sekiro doesn't have those like trap moments like Dark Souls have, but it has like these weird like woo, like weird like yeah, just like
kite
weird. And the monkey was the best one so far.
Okay. But have you fought a giant monkey yet?
Okay. You're not even there yet? Wow.
I don't know how far in the game that is.
You can go different paths. So.
Yeah,
I know, but
skip stuff.
I just remember like first day, like when Sekiro was out, everyone was on this boss, this monkey boss that you're talking about. And I was like, he must be like the second boss.
Like Shanghai 6, I saw him in the monkey boss. And I was like, damn, you must be pretty far in the game. He's like, no, I'm not. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, I skipped a lot of fucking shit, dude. I went the hard route.
That's funny.
I went the hard route,
It's
dude.
like in Zelda when you went one way and we all went the other way.
Dark Souls 2, I went the hard. Like, I remember talking to Roberto. He's like, dude, you went the fucking hardest route possible. I was like, fuck, I went what went logical. It was logical to go this way. And I was like, it was logical to go this way. But there's a moment. So that monkey boss probably, I went left when I could have went straight. I should have went straight. That's what I think. But
okay, I'm curious how that'll go for you.
And then
what else?
I tried to watch Pet Sematary, the original one, before watching the remake, and it hurts.
What about it?
The acting was bad. Dude.
So is it better, the original one?
Fuck, they're both bad. Really? They're fucking both bad. I can't watch it. Like, it hurts me.
With it, at least for me, I don't feel like it's a bad movie, but it has a lot of like just dull moments.
Yes.
And it's a really fucking long series.
It's not even
it's
that
like
scary.
a mini series, right?
Yeah, it's like,
I don't even think it's scary.
yeah, it's not too bad, but like the thing is, like this just has a lot of like boring moments, and so it's like a tough watch just because of that. But like when the moments come out, I feel like it's interesting to me. So like I'm able to at least stay attached. But yeah, when you hit those long runs, you're just like, oh man.
It's definitely like a product of its time.
Yeah.
Like at that time, I'm wondering if like someone saw a clown that did shit like that, they'd be like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
And we're like used to seeing the most fucked up, crazy types of stuff. I wonder if we're like, I don't know if it's as much a commentary about the movies and the quality of it standing up to the test of time, in combination with like us being just either desensitized or just familiar with so much, taking in so much different content that it kind of loses that value thing to it. But Pet Sematary didn't make it for you.
Sekiro's my game of the year so far. I don't know if anything can top it.
Baba's you.
All right, I had to buy it. How much is it? 10? 15?
10 or $12.
I'll buy it.
You probably, after all these other purchases, you probably have some coins.
I do.
You could probably get it. I think you'd like it.
He just got some coins.
It's got some good puzzles. I think you would appreciate the unique puzzle challenges.
And the thing is, like I've been following. Well, I mean, I've always followed Jason Schreier,
Disciple.
But he tweeted out. He's like, dude, this is like
his game of year.
This is a bigger fucking game than I thought. Like, there's just a lot more to it once it really opens up for you. So exciting.
You. Cool.
Baba is lava.
Did you read that book that's in front of us?
Oh shit, yeah.
I didn't know what it meant. It was like Catch a Wave Badass.
It's like
That's reading.
It's like a motivational book. There's LA Times Book Festival. She's gonna be there. So.
Oh, cool.
Yep. It's pretty cool. I mean, like, it's kind of weird too. The book is weird. I don't agree with some of the stuff.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's very motivational.
It's about like general life or any specific thing?
Just being the best version of yourself.
Cool.
Us.
I think you tweeted out like a thing about like a phrase in this book where if you've worked your whole life to downplay something and then someone just does it like that, you get really jealous of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like, I've been downplaying this. Like I've been saying to myself, like, I can't do this, and someone for them to just do it that easily, you're like, ah.
There's a thing in the book that hurt me, dude. Like,
because it hits.
She was like, yeah, you should never like keep the self-deprecating humor down to a low. I was like, I'm all about the like, that's my stream, dude. Self-deprecating. I was like, fuck. She's like, you're smarter than that. You're funnier than that. And it's also like, with that humor, like it kind of like.
So she said humor?
Yeah. So I was like, fuck, that's me though. I love self-deprecating humor. So.
I think you're fine.
Yeah.
I think there's more than meets the eye.
Da, 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 da.
I'm a zombie.
Transform us.
We are the Walking Dead.
For me, I went to Ren Fair, Renaissance Pleasure Fair.
Pleasure.
Emphasis on the P.
Yeah, I mean, they dress a certain way. That's for sure.
Was there a mirror amusement area?
No, I did not go anywhere near. No, there was a maze. There was a fun maze, and I was like, "Fuck off, no."
Fuck off.
Jordan Peele.
It's like a Karosh with the red jumpsuit.
Fuck off, ghost. He's right away.
Nope, not today. Syria, not today. So yeah, I went to Renaissance Fair with a bunch of friends, dressed up a little bit, getting the theme. It was a lot of fun. I only go once a year, but there's dudes with flaming whips. This guy was juggling 3 daggers, like sharp as fuck, like machete-sized daggers.
He's like, test it out yourself.
Sharp as fuck.
Oh, that's how you got the cut. I see now.
Now you understand.
You're like, this is not fuck.
And then he's balancing a sword with a sword balancing on that.
I saw a video of that, and I'm like, that shit's magnetized.
And then he's throwing all this shit, and then he's doing like dances and stuff with this. He's like, he has the world record for fucking most whip juggles, whipping shit while juggling the whips in under a minute. He has like 82. So he whips, juggle, whip, nay. Now, for the kids out there, that was for you.
Shazam.
Hey.
Dabbing on your kids. God, we're so old.
It's a fucking WonderCon. Am I doing it right?
I'm hopefully seeing that this weekend. We tried going Friday, and traffic was just shit. So we're like, nah, not worth it. So yeah, Ren Fair was fun. They do this thing. I think I mentioned it last year. You get a drink. And it like this drink is very strong. So I'm like, this is the only drink I get, and I'm good for the day. And so I get it like when we get there, I try to get it as soon as I can. And what it is like a booth, and they have like all these drinks. They're like the Wicked Witch, the Melisandre Lestrange, the Cersei, or all the themed names. Mm-hmm. And what they do is they pour most of the drink for you, and it's like in between the sizes of your 2 cups that you have out. So it's like between a grande and a venti.
But it's also like a giant.
It's like that.
No, it's like that.
Oh, I mean not giant, but it's like an actual like mug.
It's like that.
No,
video,
it's like a red cup.
It's like that video meme. Yeah, you put 2 shots.
Yeah. So they put this drink, and then once they fill that cup, imagine a red cup. They fill the cup. They're like, all right, put your hands behind your back, put your lip up to the cup, and when I say go, you can go and start drinking, because I'm going to pour the alcohol into your drink now. And as you do that, they start saying flavored text. They're like, yeah, suck it harder, go. You like that, and it's so wet. They just keep like, they think of very creative ways. Yeah. I'm doing a disservice, but they think of very creative ways of saying all these things, and to try to get you to startle or to cough. And last time I like lost it after like 10 seconds. I finished it this time. I was like, yeah. I'm strong. Episode 69 made me strong. She said some funny stuff though, and then all the people, guys and girls, I guess, but they all had cleavage.
Arnold Schwarzenegger in True Lies.
The guys had cleavage.
Everyone has cleavage. Ren Fair is it's pleasure fair for a reason. There was last year I saw a Hispanic Shrek. This year I saw Shrek and Fiona. I was like, can I get a photo with you guys? We saw a bunch of other stuff. I got a walking stick because I'm going to hike a little bit more with my dad.
Did they have turkey leg?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan, dude.
See, I liked it, but the main reason I got it last year was to sober me up. Because, like, the amount of energy it takes to fucking eat this thing, I'm just like, man, I'm not drunk anymore. This year, I paced myself better, and I ate a little bit before, and I just had, like, a hot dog or something.
And you're good.
I was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to overeat at Ren Fair, because those stalls sit out there all Ren Fair long. We went first day, but I'm like, I don't want to go on any of these other days. But it was fun.
Real life Ren Fair.
Oh, episode 69. Shout out. I did pass by. I didn't meet her, but I 100% recognized Mia Malkova. She's an adult actress. And I was like, that is her. And like by the time it clicked in my head and I vocalized it to the group I was with, guys and girls in my group,
Oh, she was at Ren Fair?
She was at Ren Fair walking with a posse.
Fine. Okay.
And I'm walking, and my friend's like, dude, why didn't you say anything? And I'm like, I recognized it was too late. We were like going this way, and she's probably gone already. I was like, man, that was me, Mom.
And he's like, she's right there.
And apparently the same day we went, Zachary Levi was at Ren Fair.
Oh, shit.
The same one I was at.
Oh.
Doing that.
You probably couldn't recognize him because of his Shazam
He's probably
outfit.
in his Thor outfit.
No, he took a picture. There was someone dressed up as Aquaman, and he took a picture with him in casual clothes. And yeah, my friend tagged me, and he's like, yeah, he was there. I'm like, what? So yeah, did Ren Fair. Been watching a little bit of the season 2 of Sabrina on Netflix.
The icon for that
Yeah.
is like a goat or whatever.
Yeah, that's Satan.
Baphomet?
Yeah, and it, like, I mean, I'm used to Sabrina the Teenage Witch, so I'm like, is this the same thing?
Yeah, they're doing a darker version of it, and
It's a comic book before.
Yeah, it was a comic as well. So the intro pays nods to all the different versions of Sabrina over the years, but this one's trying to have a continuous story of like when you're of age, you pledge your soul to the devil, and she last season that was that witch or warlock.
Okay.
And there's a school for that and everything. And she's trying to deal with her life in her regular school versus her life in this school and everything that goes with that. Season 1 felt more focused. This season has not grabbed me like very well. And they focus, it's from the same people that do like Riverdale. And they're focused a lot more on that teenage drama stuff, which I'm not a fan of.
The CW stuff.
Yeah. And like the times where they go into the lore of the schools and the lore of the witchcraft and wizardry and all that stuff, that's when it's enticing to me. But when it deviates from that, and it's like, no, Peggy, like we're best friends now. But like you can go out with my ex. I'm like, fuck, what the fuck? I don't give a fuck.
I like it when shows like The Flash, they had the guy's dad was the original, not the original Flash, but he was like, I wish they made Sabrina
If they got the
original
cast,
as an aunt or something.
That would have been good. That would have been fun.
Shows drop the ball when they do that, I think.
I'm curious what if they made an effort, if they didn't, why they didn't, like where was the decisions made to do or not do that? Because it seems like very cool ways to pay homage to like what you're saying. So yeah, I'm kind of like, at first Kate and I were watching it, and she was like, do you want to watch it? I'm like, nah, not really. And she's like, can I watch it? I'm like, go for it. Like, I'll catch up. Like, it's fine. And then we're watching more Trek. I honestly thought I saw that episode you talked about on Reddit, because I saw people in that clothing. It wasn't an episode.
Damn.
It was some other thing. It was about clones, though.
What season is this thing?
2. We're dragging our feet.
Okay, and
It
there's
took us like
27 seasons or something like that?
9 or 6. I forget.
How many episodes in a season?
Yeah, but they're all beefy episodes though.
They're like
So-
hour long?
It's 26 episodes a season, 6 seasons.
Hour long?
Hour long.
26 hours.
We usually watch it during dinner, but now Game of Thrones is going to come back, and I'm like, well, that's just Sundays.
Hey, that's just a 6-week hiatus, dude. You're good.
I know it shouldn't deviate. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's one day a week, and it shouldn't deviate us like that much.
Yeah.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, that's coming up. I've been prepping. Have you guys heard of this Oreo thing going on?
Yes.
The Game of Thrones Oreos. Well, I don't know if there's
The
something
theme song?
behind it.
Or
No,
the-
the fact that they have these Oreos that
Yeah.
are made in the theme of it.
Well, are they reselling for a lot?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
You're like, I could have gotten all this shit.
So my coworkers have been scouring for these things. They're like, "Fucking, where are these things?" And I'm like, I looked at the Ralph's. Yeah, Keith got like.
All I gotta say is Keith somehow
has them
always
all.
gets in on this shit. Like when it was impossible to find switches, he's like, I got one over here. There's one over here. Anyone need this one over here? I'm like,
Keith
what the
Keith
fuck?
did all right. You're looking at the Iron King right now.
You have a throne?
I fucking I have a story to tell. So I had a shit day the other day. It was literally yesterday, and I was like, man, fuck this day. Like I was on my way home. I was getting food for myself, and I'm like, you know what? I've looked at the Ralphs near me, and I'm like, didn't see anything. But my friends kept saying Target, so I was like, I'll give Target a try. So I drive by Target, and there's fucking all of them. Like there's a bunch of these things. So I'm like, whatever. It just says the $2.99. I'm like, all right. Get a cart, load this sucker up. I put like 12 of these things in there. I was like, 12's. I think I got like because I knew people that wanted them. I was like, oh, this should cover that and of some. So I'm going to checkout, and the lady just like she's helping someone, and I just see her just go like,
What a fat ass.
fucking game. What is Game of Thrones? Nerd? Like I thought of everything. I'm like, whatever. I'm used to that. I've gotten Pokemon shit before too, and I get that.
I've got a.
Are these for your kids? No, these are for me. Okay.
I just feel like I got a very large family.
Yeah, and so I get up, and then I thought that was what her reaction was too, and she's like, "You can't buy those." I was like, "I'm sorry." She's like, "You only get 2 of those." I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "We're limited to only allow for 2 per customer." Dang. And then she's like, "Right?" And she points to her manager. She's like, "Because I got in trouble." She was telling me, she's like, "I got in trouble for letting someone buy more."
Yeah.
And apparently we're not supposed to. She didn't know. And she points to the manager. The manager reaffirms it. And I'm like, "What about other products at Target? Can you buy only 2 of those?" And he's like, "No, just this. This is the only thing limited." I'm like, "Okay." And he starts picking up all of the ones that I wasn't getting, and taking them back. And I'm like, you would probably help yourself as well as other employees that have to deal with this if you put a sign next to it, so you don't have to do this. I don't want them to be like, "Fuck, another one of these," and takes them back. So I buy the 2, and then the people around me were like, "Do you want us to help? Like, we can pitch in. Like, that's dumb." And they were like, "Well," I'm like, no, it's fine, it's fine." And the cashier's like, "I don't know you, so if you want to take these to your car and go to another line, you won't see any complaints from me."
Yeah, sure. Like somebody.
Faceless man.
Yes.
I'm a complete different person.
I'm like, "I will, thank you." And so I take him, put him in my car, walk back, grab literally the ones he put, grab 2 more, go to self-checkout, buy them, walk to my car, come back, get 2 more. I did this 4 times.
You can't just go to shelf checkout and buy like the amount you want.
I didn't want another flag to be raised. I'm like, I already got 1 flag raised. I'm just going to hopefully know. And by the 4th one, that guy that first put him back and then another person were like,
dang.
I was like, I'm going to call this a win. Walked out.
LP, Target's Most Wanted. There's a picture of Karosh. Like a blurred image. Like Oreo Bandit.
Keep an eye out for this guy. Only buys Oreos cookies. He's like, who cares, dude?
So then I'm like, you know what? I'm not done. There's another Target 5 minutes away. I'm like, I'm going to try. I'm just going to try. I parked really close because I parked really far, and that walk started to it was hot. So I parked up close. They're not on display. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask. I went to the grocery aisle, and I'm like, "Hey, you guys got any of the Game of Thrones, or are you sold out?" And they're like, "How many you want?" I'm like, "How many can I get?"
Black market?
And this guy says, "I can get up to 6. I'm like, "Motherfucker, is that the other one?" I'm like, "I'll take 6.
But at this point, I'm assuming like these restrictions are limited to like the manager. He's like, "Hey, it seems like a lot of people are buying."
No,
these.
I talked to some people, and it turns out it's like based on the store's demand or popularity or whatever, like how much traffic they get.
Gotcha.
They base it on that.
He's in our store now.
Yeah, I was like, I hope they don't flag. I was like, I need to get these before they contact the other.
They're like, "I'm sorry, sir, but you're wanted." Like with the 2
with the Band-Aid. Julian Assange come out.
Ran for your biatch.
So I got 6.
Oh.
I came out with 14 of these motherfuckers.
You should make an Iron Throne.
So with that,
Oh shit!
I made sure to get one for you guys.
Oh damn!
It's funny because I was literally gonna be like, there's a Rouse here. We're checking it out.
Thank you.
Ooh.
You look
made
out
it.
for the podcast.
We made it, Reddit. We made it.
There you go.
Now I don't want to eat it. Now I gotta eat it.
I'm gonna eat it on Game of Thrones night, dude. Shit.
Dude, I walked into work the other day with like 8 of these. I'm like, all right, who's
Everyone's like, we're not worthy.
My coworkers that were looking for them were able to get a few
That's
as
so
well.
fucking cool. I don't want to eat these now.
I know. So it's got all the different.
It's got on it.
That's like people were asking me like, what's so special? Is just the wrapping? I'm like, no,
Cookies go rotten. I'm just kidding.
I mean, you could air seal these suckers. But yeah, I was like, I gotta get one
like
for
the packaging. It's like a nice gray.
It's like a matte black.
Neon gray. Gray joint.
What is cookie may never cookie? I did it all for the cookie though.
The cookie thinks they escaped, and I dip it in milk.
So that was an eventful day, but I was like, you know what? I had a shitty day at work, but this is a win. I came out on top. Fuck you, Target.
I would have taken the loss at the 2 per limit. I'm like, all right, I'm taking.
I was
2.
like, I'm making a point. I'm getting this fucking shit.
So you have 12 more. What are you gonna do with the rest?
So I don't have 12 more. I have.
Are you gonna resell?
No. I don't
Is it
think
for
so.
the body or is it for somebody?
Somebody. So I most of them I'm going to be giving. I've either given to coworkers and they paid me for because they were like, oh yeah, I was going to buy them. How much were they? And I was like, okay, yeah. And then other ones, I'm like, there was 2 or 3. One of them, my DM. So in Pathfinders, we continued, and 2 new characters joined. One of them was a player who the last character died, and now he's playing the brother of that character. And it was a really funny moment because like he's like, oh, I got a letter from my brother. This is it, and they became, because I'm the bard. They're like, here, you read it. So I'm reading it, and he's like, and this is the group I've been with. That guy that died, he's been obliterated by our own team because one of the characters got a bloodlust and couldn't tell friend from foe and just fucking hacked him in half. Oh shit! And we're like,
oops.
So his brother's just gone. And so we're reading the note, and when it gets to my character, I was like, all right, he's gonna say some good shit, and he's like, he's the dumbest motherfucker. Like, oh shit. And I knew he was doing that, so I was like, I'm gonna read it like I'm hitting me. I was like, he's the dumbest what the? It was fun. And then he said some stuff about other people. The guy who ended up cutting him, he wrote, I would trust him with my life.
That's funny.
And so my other friend of the show, Sam, had joined the group as well. And so we met his character, and it was fun. It was just nice. And the DM has been keeping the pace going for a year now. We've only leveled up once in a year of playing. Granted, we're only playing an hour during lunch.
Which is why I told you when you were like, yeah, when I'm level 15, I'm going to have all these skills.
So the DM, when we're talking about our characters and what we should do, he gives advice. He's like, no, dude, at level 6, you could dual class this, and you could level 5 this, level 3 this. I'm like, bro, I'm level 2. I'm not thinking level.
It's been a fucking year. I'm level 2, dude.
I'm like, I'm not thinking that far. I want things that are immediate. He's like, no, you won't get it. I'm like, no. I want it now.
It's my character, and I need it now.
But I'm now a bard gunslinger, so that's cool. I'm gonna quartet style. But it was cool. So I brought one of and he's a fan of Game of Thrones, the books. And so I was like, before I showed it to him, I was like, roll this dice. Because he's always having his roll for perception and all this shit. And he rolled a 17. I'm like, all right, good. And I gave him the box. He's like, were you not going to give it to me? Or was that just for I was like, we'll never know.
Give him one cookie.
Yeah.
If he gets
I was going to be like, we're going to do a shame, just And then so one of my friends is coming over for the pay-per-view. Or not pay-per-view, fuck.
Game of Thrones?
He usually comes over for wrestling.
Night,
he usually comes over for wrestling pay-per-views, but he's coming over for the
Game of Thrones.
For Game of Thrones, and I was going to give him one. And I was going to keep at least one for me. If I have another one, I was going to keep it for the finale, maybe do something. But yeah, most of them have been going to people.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I might take this for the finale.
You should do every time. Well, you should have one saved.
Every dead person that dies.
Yeah. Lannister down.
Vala Morgulus.
Dude, this shit won't last an episode.
First episode.
Cookie Monster.
Dragon wipes off.
You know how they do the drinking game when someone dies? This is the cookie game.
Yeah.
As your eyes.
Yeah. So that was eventful and fun. And then the last thing is I've been playing more Destiny. I'm doing shit from the last 2 DLCs. And I'm like, fuck, this was a thing? It's the dumbest grind stuff. I want to do
but here you are.
I want to do the present stuff because it's way more streamlined. But I'm like, if they're streamlining this stuff, why don't they go back and in addition to that, streamline the old stuff?
I mean, then what does it make it for the people that have gotten it when it was really difficult?
And that I faced, and all they need to do is change a color of something. Be like, for the people that did the difficult, they get this title. For the people that got it after, they get a different color, and I'll know, and they'll know.
All lowercase.
Because they fucking did that with the title I got, the Gambit one. After I did it, they made it easier, and I'm like, I don't care that they made it easier. I just wish they changed the color or just an asterisk where it's this is this season's title. This is another season's title. I feel like that is a small thing that would make the differentiating factor. But my seal came finally. They give you a real life pin, and it's a nice embroidered case and everything. And that came in the mail. And when I saw it, I was like, I was already working on other seals in the game, and I'm like, I want these other seals.
I want more.
Because this looks like prestigious. Like it felt like really nice. I should have brought
the
it.
King.
It's a real life prestige.
It was really well made pin, like a very nice. I'm like, I don't know what to do. But I'm close to getting 2 of the other seals.
There's how many titles? 6?
I think 8 or 9 now. Because
there's more now.
They did one for the Armory, and they did one for the newest one, Reckoning. That one's easier. The Armory one I was gonna do, but it has raid related stuff, and I'm not doing any of the raid.
Let's do it. 2 man, me and you.
You have to come back first. That's not happening. I still need Rat King for PC.
I can do that at least. I'll come back for that.
You would?
I'll help you out.
Okay, cool. That would be like
just let me know when, and I'll.
Okay, tonight.
You send me on. I gotta wake up early to buy coffee for coworkers.
Okay, fine. Tomorrow morning, like some people stream in the morning. You decided to neglect that little note when you were talking. Yeah. So, Destiny.
We've been talking for a while.
Yeah, we have. I mean, whatever. It's a Game of Thrones. It's the Game of Thrones season. Time for some good stuff. Let's get into topics. Yeah.
Let's do it.
You want? We're starting with yours.
Yes. So there's rumor that there's a website that a millionaire is looking for someone to help him create a real life battle royale using like airsoft guns and stuff like that.
They said airsoft.
I mean the
I thought
the
that
article,
was a suggestion you had mentioned.
The article I read, I think, says airsoft. I don't know. I haven't looked at the actual like job listing for that.
Okay.
But yeah, they're looking for someone to help them create logistically like this whole entire thing. They'll pay them they're paying them a certain amount every day for I think it's 6 weeks total to create this system.
Okay.
And then I believe the grand prize for like the full winner would be $100,000. I think is how it's set up. And then like every diminishing obviously gets a certain amount as well, like lower than that and just lower than that. But my topic was let's make one. Let's design one. Where location wise, obstacles, weaponry, types, everything. Like, what do you guys want to do?
Okay, so we're adhering to the rules of reality.
You
can't do like Fortnite shit where it's like I would like to be able to build a wall.
I mean, you can have trampolines and stuff.
No, yeah, I would do. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but we can't real life pad that makes you immune to fall damage and survive $1 million.
You can't do Apex style. We're like, I'm breaking off.
If you want, you can add stuff like a parachuting the what is it the whatever glider or whatever. That would work too. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Someone awkwardly in their PJs. Yeah. But
episode 69 back at it.
So going back to that, so terrain wise, I think either a portion of or all of New Zealand would be cool because there's such variety of terrain.
Just do the part that they made it look like the Hobbit Town or whatever.
No, but they have like the cold mountains. They have the
but
desert.
they also have Hobbiton or whatever it's called.
Yeah, but that's like grassy.
But we can have that area too.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
You brought up New Zealand. It's not my fault.
New Zealand, and maybe that's too much, but
dude, you can combine.
No. Kauai. That's the small island. I think that would be perfect. Kauai. It's one of the smaller Hawaiian islands. It's where they filmed Jurassic Park and Lost.
Oh, that's funny.
I would have it there. And I think I would have, in terms of like challenges and stuff, I would have, first of all, I would have the people hosting this be the people that ran, what's that Japanese thing on Spike
MXC?
TV? Yeah, I would have those guys running this shit. And I would have all of their types of challenges as like obstacles on the course where you're like trying to run and all of a sudden it's like a body shaped thing we have to run.
Jesus Christ.
With paintball guns. Paintball guns would be how you distinguish if someone's out or not.
Well, I mean, the way that they said, at least on the other thing, is airsoft with like touch sensitive armor where it'll like.
I'm doing paintball guns.
Oh, that's cool.
That shit hurts.
Yeah, it does.
So no one under a certain amount of age can play that one.
Of course, I wouldn't have a kid do this.
I think I would choose like an island. I would like the same way. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know if the perfect island that I'm thinking of exists, but I want it to be big enough, but obviously like not habited, so like nothing is damaged.
How long would a battle royale take?
So
given
with like the
island.
logistically on the one, it's expected to take multiple days.
Oh,
so they're offering free food and like camping gear to the contestants so that they can stay overnight.
Okay.
So yeah.
How would you guys? Oh, I want to hear
Yeah.
Jang's as well, like initial pitch.
Well,
I have questions about all of them.
it's gonna be very, very large.
So the desert.
That's what she
Not
said.
desert. But, the hard part is drop. So I would have like a map, and people would have to point where they want to get dropped. They would have earphones and blindfolded.
Oh, shit.
And they'll drop to that certain spot.
As in, like, just be like left there, and then
Oh, I thought you were having them skydive blindfolded.
No.
With a really like.
And then when it's like time to like go, it'll
Okay.
say, okay, you can now take off your blindfold, and then. But you can't drop in the same spot. So if two people are like really close to each other, it'd be like you have to pick another.
I don't know why I think of this, but like the moment you said that, I feel like you just take it a step further. It's real guns. They think it's paintball guns. Like, yeah, exactly. Battle Royale. There's I
don't wanna
is
play-
it Korean or what is it? What is
Japanese,
the Japanese? Yeah, that movie. That's fucked up movie.
I would use like a laser tag system because the thing I hate about paintball, I've been paintballing before, is
Jams.
well, that too, but you can see someone and you can't hit them. You know you can't hit them. And
Is that like a Fortnite where it's like this gun doesn't have good range?
Well, I mean, I guess, but I mean, you can hit.
And there's gonna be different forms of guns. Like I would have, because I've seen a guy who plays really well, and he does what is it? He does sniping. And he does it really well. Like he has like a camera on his thing. He does all this stuff, and he does a really good job. So I mean, like that's something I would really
Would
like.
the laser tag stuff have like ranges too?
Yeah, you could hit far. Close.
So like all of them would have like even if you had a pistol, longest range.
Oh, I didn't even think about weapons, dude, or weapon types.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about one weapon.
Oh,
Because
okay,
that's
okay.
why when you think of paintball, you think of like one exclusive, which is why I didn't want to I wanted to get away from just saying the word paintball. But there are different types of
I didn't
weapons.
even think about that.
Well, even if with paintball, I would be like, oh, I found a crate and it has a different type of paintball.
But would you guys have it where
laser
it's like
tag would be cool.
one hit you're dead, or you have a life bar like you can?
If it was paintball, one hit. But if I like your idea, let's say this is a millionaire got money, different types of laser guns, and I would say you have X number of hits to take. And if you take an item, that'd be a great way to just be like replenish shield or something.
Look.
And you can
Emotes. That was the next question.
in your boxers.
Bonus points every time you dance on someone's dead body. You extra money.
He kind of looked like Gary Sinise. At first, I was like, "Wait, is that Gary Lieutenant Diane? Is that you?"
Oh my gosh.
For those that don't know, the entrance to this is like a glass door.
Yeah.
Well, earlier, this guy, sometimes we'll have people come by when we're recording, and they'll kind of glance in, but they walk off. And
But this guy thinks we're a museum, and he's just standing here for quite a while.
he's back. I'm kidding.
Wait, no, he's right there. What the?
And he's just in like a white t-shirt and just boxers and a newspaper.
Yeah, he's straight up nude.
He just stood there watching.
Yeah, he's like looking in their camera. He's looking at us.
Every time he made eye contact, he was like,
he's like, "We're drunk." At least we're approved by this dude. So, we're
live
good.
audience.
We made it.
Yeah, we made it. Anyway, Battle Royale. Yeah, I think, okay, so my real question, not the emote question, was how do you get people to go further in?
Oh, the circle.
Would you have a digital circle that everyone has like a radar?
You know what? If we do like the whole laser thing, if like you have like advanced,
Give everyone a
pads,
Pip-Boy.
You would have to have a map.
Yeah.
Give them the Pip-Boy with a map, ping where you are, and then show the circle and Instagram. You're like,
And that's like if you're ever in this like out of the circle, you're
your
like
health.
Well, I would assume it's like a certain amount of hits. So I would say like every like 5 minutes you're in the circle, you lose a bar of life.
you're out of the circle.
How do you
circle.
visualize a circle when it's in the real? I have like guys like woo.
It's just like we like the millionaire just plays like a ton of people enough to like cover the whole like island, and then they slowly move in closer?
No, I just feel like it's a digital circle. No, as long as the Pip-Boy is showing it, you can see it. So you can just be like, wait, Google Maps, I need to get that way to get out of this circle.
Okay, yeah.
Fuck. I mean, that's the easy way, I guess. But
I mean, it's $1 million. What do you want? Okay, what would be another way?
I feel like with this whole island thing, I don't think $1 million is going to get you far. To be honest with you,
each player gets $1 million worth of equipment.
See, like at that point, probably yeah.
He's a billionaire. Millions of dollars.
It says millionaire, not billionaire.
I think you saw a typo.
Maybe, maybe I did.
Let's pretend it said billion.
Let's
pretend that guy never cared about.
Yeah. He's the billionaire. He's like writing notes.
He's like, I get the shit for free, man.
Okay, if we're not doing laser shit, I still think the trampolines and other stuff could work.
Yeah.
Another cool thing.
How would you make that portable? You just have random ones just like scattered throughout. No, the trampolines
scattered around.
There's no portable ones.
No
one can just be like.
It's tough enough. Like a real life person, just like fuck. Like in addition to trying to navigate and all that stuff, I would actually do another version of this. I wouldn't have a massive place. I would have like the size of Costco, still massive for what I'm about to suggest, but like have it be like a Chuck E. Cheese play area with like the ball pits and all that shit, and have that be the Battle Royale.
I just imagine like the Predator scene, like in the ball pit. Get me! I'm an idea! And he's like, nah, it's a fucking trap.
Your friend's just like
ball pit, like.
But like, yeah, it would have the zip lines. It would have the things, the net you crawl through or shoot through.
Damn.
Why doesn't laser tag have battle royale modes? Oh, I think it's too small, huh?
Yeah,
that's probably why.
And then like the upkeep is so insane with that. Like all the ones I've seen do so shit. Dude.
I mean, there's VR cafes or playgrounds now or whatever. They could. I would 100% love like a laser tag battle royale, even if it was like
20 people. 30.
Yeah, 20, 30 people.
So if I had like unlimited funds, I would choose an island. I'd have people build stuff on this island, like pre-built, like so like we're building like like a fucking treehouse type deal, like fucking little like castle type shits.
Amish. This is an Amish.
Yeah, obviously all gonna be made out of wood. And yeah, like I would just like it's all gonna be there, like boom, area set, and then just invite the fucking 100 people and just have at it. And then after that. So that's my the very first game free. Obviously, there's a winner. Blah blah blah. After that, it's you have to pay to play in this. Now it's
microtransactions.
Now it's gonna be a game
pay to play.
Zone. Yeah, dude, pay to win. That's gonna be my.
I would have it be where it's this would be televised. You'd have the host,
Truman Show,
and then after like let's say a few seasons, they do like. Celebrity dance show where like you do duos and like one of the veterans comes back and pairs with like a celebrity of some kind.
Be cool.
I would have like Jack Black and paired with someone, Casey Neistat paired with someone. I don't know, like actors and actresses, different people of different celebrity status.
Mm-hmm. No, but I would probably have paintball. I would have. Probably like a 3-hit elimination type deal.
3 hits?
Which would suck because like
I'm out.
No, well like there's people. The thing is like you never just get hit once like when you're playing paintball. Like there's people that like just like they spam the shit of this gun, so you will get hit like 4, 5, 6 times. So like you're gonna be immediately out. But the thing is like if I
don't want to play paintball with those people.
There's times where like people are like pointing out, so they'll get hit once. You're like fuck, but that's not gonna be a kill.
That reminds me of a story. I did paintball once, and we were out in this outdoor like field setup thing with wreckage and stuff. And our side was we paintballed maybe once or twice. Mm-hmm. And my cousin was there. He's like 14, 15 at the time. And we got flanked. Like this team was like hardcore. Like dad and his kids were like.
Keanu Reeves.
And these are hand signals. And I literally there was like a pipe, and this kid's like. And he came up behind, and we were all out except for my cousin. And I'm watching from the side, and this kid's just like, surrender. And I either didn't hear him or didn't know you could surrender. Shit. And he just turned and ran. The guy shot like 3 times in the back. He's like, I gave him a try. And then my cousin's like, what the fuck? You can surrender? He was point blank, dude. Yeah. I was like, man.
I just remember, dude, paintball's hilarious because like I've been to like an outdoor, like it's like a war, one side versus one side. But in the very beginning, I was like, like 10 seconds later.
So when I was younger, I was super into it, and I went to a friend's party that he had gotten this whole entire area or whatever. I remember rushing. I rushed the opposite side, but there's no way to tell like whose team you're on very well. So I'm like literally like in the middle of the field behind a car. So my whole team is like behind me, and I'm open to them.
They shot you.
Yeah, I got shot like 17 times, dude. They're all like, he's right there. Caesar. I was like, no.
Trading.
And I was so mad. I was just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna fucking contest this shit. I'm just out because it hurt. It fucking hurt.
It's funny. You get up to go, and the real enemy is like, get him.
So fucking yellow on the back, red on the front. I'm like, fuck.
Vargas went rogue. Dark zone.
Oh my god, dude. That shit sucked. And that was like, I remember that was the last game too. So I was like, I'm gonna play this shit like hardcore, and immediately got
you went hardcore.
Immediately got taken out, dude. They went hardcore on me, dude. Fuck. I remember I haven't played since then. I've not gotten to a single paintball game since then, dude.
When I went with Katie was the first time. It was her first time doing paintball, and like we all had masks at this place. The first match, someone shot, and it has a cover of the ears, but it's like opened, so you can hear. Her ear was just covered in just like gunk, and she's like, I can't. It's ringing right now because of the splat. I was like, wow, that sucks. That's a bad first start. Yeah. Anyway.
I remember this is so bad. Don't ever do this. Like, so I was playing paintball, and I was with my teammate. I don't know this guy. This guy gets up and gets shot. He's like, oh, I got hit. You know, I wiped it off. No, he didn't.
Damn.
The thing is too, like when you play like a legit area, there's like referees.
Yeah, there's referees. There were referees.
So you're not allowed to like blind fire. Yeah, you can never blind fire. So you have to always like your head has to be sticking out. You have to visually be able to see what you're shooting. And you can't just like see through a crack and shoot. Like, they don't allow that. So a referee would be like, no, blind fire. And then you're like, and if you do enough, they'll be like, you know what, just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So yeah.
I could see paintball working for the Battle Royale. I think though, if they're paying top dollar, you could get the laser tag version of it. But if you're like, I'm scrounging for resources, paintball would work 100% still. I think it actually would work with the what's it called again? Those announcers?
MXC?
MXC.
Which I think is so funny because MXC is a dubbed English version, obviously ridiculously overdubbed. It's not anywhere near what they're supposed to be saying. So you would want the actual dubbed people, like the
exactly how it is, but just for Battle Royale.
Guys just randomly saying shit.
He's a breeder of reptiles.
And then
it just camera cuts to all these different people.
The reporter Pepe Le Pew.
I just would want random. It would be hilarious. Yeah.
I just think it's funny with the trampolines. Like they're not going to do anything. Like you don't even jump high enough to like be able to like jump over a wall or anything.
I would have no. Okay, don't forget random trampolines. There would be a whole zone, like a section of the map.
Jump house.
It's like those trampoline built rooms.
Yeah, the jump houses.
But imagine in the open field, just like you're walking and you just boom.
So boom. I was thinking there should be loot boxes or treasure chests like Fortnite, but you had to do like MXC challenges to get them, and you risk getting shot.
Draw attention to yourself.
Yes.
Smart. I like
Dance
it.
like a monkey. Paint a big red dot on you.
Yeah. That's good. I like it. We made it. We got hire us.
Oh my god. I would add pyrotechnics. Like at the end, once the winner.
Yeah.
We've got a winner. And then
a
digital billboard.
I would either fuck with them or add something that was legit. But I'd be like, at a certain timer, something is set loose in the map. Not like a crazy thing, but like a linebacker. I want like a linebacker set loose. Just like you don't know where it's gonna come from, but like you're gonna see this linebacker coming at you to tackle you.
Fuck. They're gonna have Smash Bros. Items, so like you throw out Pokemon balls.
Real life though. Come on. A linebacker can come at you. Yeah.
Shooting the shit out of the linebacker.
Or an American Gladiator comes at you. It's like I would have
like American. I'd have like people in suits like aren't like
that could be other challenges. Instead of like doing a challenge, you like it's like
boss battle.
It's like Breath of the Wild. Test of strength, minor strength, test of major strength.
He's like guarding the
Lionel. Yeah, the Lionel. He's just like walking around. You're like, and he's like, and he just turns around and you're just like, fuck.
I would have mazes. You could get lost in like a garden maze or something.
A mirror maze.
Scissors. Red jumpsuits.
Your face is
An owl pops up.
I would have monkeys. We have to catch them.
I'd have an owl that can tell you how to play the game.
How to save. Yeah. Zelda, the Breath of the Battle Royale.
Fuck. It's accepted me.
I feel satisfied with our combined efforts.
So yours would be the Hawaii island.
Yeah, Kauai. That would be the location.
I would just, if I can randomly find a fucking perfect island, I'd choose that one. So I guess Kauai for now because I've seen it.
Okay.
In movies. And then yours, what did you say?
This is a big place.
Big place.
Forest.
Costco.
Yeah.
Because like if you really think about it, people can't really run too long, especially when the circle closes.
I'd have golf
just
carts.
Hey. And they're made out of foam, so you can't kill anyone?
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely make it so you can't kill anyone. No one's dying.
I would make it illegal to kill someone. Perfect.
Fuck. Coming up with genius rules.
All right, do you guys want to move on to the talk?
Yeah, it's totally. Before the guy comes back.
Ooh, he's right there.
Weird. All right, Ching, what's your topic?
So, speaking of cheating in paintball. So, a journalist from PC Gamer recently posted a review, but the title of the article said, I think it was like, I cheated and I'm okay with it. I'm paraphrasing it.
I'll find the article now.
And basically, he played Sekiro, cheated on the last boss, and...
Oh, yeah. I'm cheated. I beat Sekiro's final boss with cheats, and I feel fine.
Yes.
And this isn't like, not like a glitch or anything like that. This is like actual cheats.
The actual
it's a mod.
Slow down.
It's like a PC mod that, yeah.
That's funny. Okay.
And so, what are your thoughts? Like, because people on the Twitter went crazy and...
So we've had a conversation about like difficulties, I believe.
I don't remember it, but sure. I'm sure we have. In the 114 episodes.
And
on that episode.
I think in that episode, I realized like I'm okay with easy difficulties. Like it makes it... There's times where people like have had a hard day. They want to just go, sit down. They want to enjoy a game that everyone's enjoying, but they don't want to have a hard time. And the thing is, Sekiro doesn't have these difficulties. Like, that shit is set to fucking ultimate difficulty.
It's that or nothing.
And that's just that. Yeah, like, it's extreme and that's it. Like, there's no other choice. You know what? I'm not mad at him for fucking cheating. I think it's fine. Like, if you like, to beat a game, to enjoy it, if that's what it takes, then I think you're fine with it, And he's not trying to hide it. He's not, there's no like, hey, I beat the game, and he's trying to just hide the fact.
You guys read the article?
I've not.
So in the article, he talks about the cheat, and he, as Jang described, it's a mod on his PC that lets him slow the game down so that the character of the boss is going at a slower frame or rate or whatever than he is. So what he did was he would lower it by 50% and learn a fight. Mm-hmm. And once he started catching like, oh, this is a tell, he would try raising it again. And then he would approach it. And sometimes he'd do that. Sometimes he'd be like, nah, fuck this. I'm going to keep going. And when he got to the final boss, he did it lower to learn. And then he was like, you know what? The amount of time it's going to take me to do it legit still is going to take a while. So I just don't want to. He's like, he saw credits roll. He's like, I still feel satisfied.
Yeah.
And so that was his experience. Just to give full context to both the viewer and I know it's for you as well, to give a little bit more full.
Gotcha.
Jang.
On the flip side, just to defend him, is like I don't think you need to beat a game to review it properly. No. So like
I think that conversation's been brought up a few times.
Yeah, people were saying like, yeah, this is like a lot of the threads was like, this is game journalism, you know, you blah blah blah. But I feel like you don't have to beat the game to actually do a full review. You have to play a good chunk of it, but I feel like, yeah, you don't have to beat it.
I don't have like it's like. To discuss Monster Hunter, you don't necessarily have to fight the final boss to give it a fully thought out conversation. To talk about World of Warcraft, I could say with some confidence that you probably don't have to do like whatever the end story is to get a full understanding.
Right.
Or in Destiny too, like you can get a vibe from. So I'm on the same page.
But what if it like obviously this is just like semantics, but what if it's something like this last boss introduces a new mechanic to the game?
If it's the last boss though, then I'd be like, why? If it's that big of a thing, it's only for the last boss. So I'm like, that wasn't the bulk of my experience with this game, regardless of doing it or not.
To my knowledge, that last boss fight is everything you learned in that game so far is for this test.
It's like a culmination.
Yeah, it's like that. Mr. Freeze boss.
Yeah.
Fight. So it's kind of like that.
That bullshit boss, dude.
Mr. Freeze.
So, in terms of cheating, though, what do you think? For cheating in a single-player game?
Who cares? To be honest, like, I don't know why people are so mad. Like, people should enjoy the game however they want, especially a single player. He's not like
taking advantage of other players.
Yeah.
But you were mentioning this like when we were driving up down here. Is the amount of time it took him.
Right. So the thing, like, you know, like the article said, he spent a lot of time just coming up to that boss, but I felt like he didn't struggle enough with that final boss. Like the way the article read was I tried a couple times and then I turned on the cheats. I wish he spent like a day or like a couple hours and then I would have been okay with it. But he just went, okay, after a couple tries, I don't have time. I just got to do it.
Well, so I feel like it's a missed opportunity on one hand, because it's like, from what I understand of a lot of Dark Souls experiences, it's like you're bashing your head against a puzzle or a challenge or whatever, and there's this experience you get when you learn that fight, and when Monster Hunter I think captures that essence to some degree. Maybe you would agree. Mm-hmm. And that experience is what people are fighting for. They're like, you don't get this from other games, and I feel like that's up to each and every person to decide whether they want that or not. Like if they don't want that and they just want to beat it and move on, however they beat it is up to them. They're missing out. If for the purists, my answer is whatever. They missed out. But where do you stand on? And this is I feel fine with cheat codes. Like I'll get into that in a second. But I want to ask, because you've been doing a lot of Souls and Bloodborne games. When people are like, I'm doing a blood level 4, I did this game on X difficulty. Do you think anything diminishes with like someone else having beaten the game at however they beat it? Does that diminish anything for you?
No.
Okay.
And also like for like blood level 4 runs, like not cheats but exploits.
Yeah.
I feel like is okay because
cheese is an exploit.
It's fucking hard. Dude. Yeah. I mean,
and it's a different. So to go to my thing. I was trying to think of how I would approach this topic, because it is an interesting topic, and I've been hearing a lot about just various forms of it, whether it be the ease of having easy modes, having accessibility in games, or cheats in games. And the first thing the biggest thing that came to mind, I should say, was my first experience with StarCraft. Mm-hmm. I went over to a friend's house. I was 10 years old. I'd seen my other friends playing like Command and Conquer, Age of Empires, and I was like, it looks kind of tedious and like trying to manage shit and all this stuff. There wasn't an appeal to me. I wanted fun. I wanted Mario. I wanted this shit. Yeah. And my neighbor is like, hey, come over, and he's like, I want to show you some cool like new sci-fi space shit. I was like, okay, and I'm like watching him play, and it's like these alien dragoons and all this shit, and then he's like, check this out. He types in a code. It's like Black Sheep Wall, power overwhelming, all this stuff. All of a sudden, and I don't know what that means at the time, but like he's like instantly making everything. And I'm like, whoa. And he just makes a bunch of cannons and just keeps making them, goes into the enemy's base and just kills the guy through defense. And I was like, that looks cool. Like the visuals matched, the way he was doing things was funny and it made it fun. And I was like, I want to play this game. So I got the battle chest. They're like $20-$30. Still $20-$30, like over almost 20 plus years later.
Well worth it.
Yeah. And first thing I started doing, every cheat code I knew. I was like, I looked up cheat codes.
Power, overwhelming.
Black Sheep Ball, all these other ones. And it was so much fun. Like, I was like, oh my God, I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. Played through the story. Didn't give a shit. I was like, I'm 10 years old. What the fuck do I know? I'm like, make shit. And then, I was around 11 at that time then, by the time this happened. And I'm like, oh, there's online play. And I started playing online, and I learned that there's no cheat codes that work online. So I have to learn to play either by a set of rules or by just the legit way.
Power Overwhelming comes into the chat like, what are you doing?
Kids, GG. And I learned, at that point, I knew there was an appeal to learning online, and I was like, I want to compete against other people, whoever they may be. I might suck, whatever. And I started learning how to play the game legit in a PvP sense. And it was a lot of fun in a different way. And because if it wasn't for me doing it in the cheating in the first place and learning it through that, I would never have been open to online play, PC, like gaming online, and just all this other stuff.
I could tell you an online cheat that works, though. No rush, 10 minutes, dude. And then you rush 5 minutes.
Or when you're losing in Street... or
turn all your allies off or in a free-for-all.
When you're losing in Street Fighter, unplug the Ethernet cable. Not a loss.
Disconnects. 1 win, 99 disconnects.
Power overwhelming disconnected. Oh,
fuck. But like, I always look at that. I'm like, I've loved a lot of things as a result of that chain of events. And that was my experience. And if someone wants to do it that way, that's great. If someone wants to be like, I want to play this game on the hardest way, in the most legit way, power to them. Like, I understand also that an artist has an intent of like, this is how I want people to experience my game, but like, it's a product for consumption, so people are going to do it in different ways.
And then the thing is, like, what's funny too is there's games that are okay and games that are not okay to cheat. One game that I think is just everyone is like, you know, it's like it's meant to have cheats. Grand Theft Auto, like that's a game that like you play and you're like unlimited ammo.
It's just the sandbox.
All rockets.
Yeah,
cars are always driving at fucking max speed. Like it makes that game ridiculous.
And mods, like imagine mod communities, like,
and that's what I was gonna say. Like I don't generally like activate cheats, but I've like World of Warcraft 3. I played
Warcraft 3.
Or yeah, sorry, just Wow, so much about World of Warcraft.
I mean, World of Warcraft's been around.
Still got them, boys.
I mean, at this point, it's World of Warcraft 7, but no, it's Warcraft 3. I played the single player game, but that's not the reason I picked that game up. I picked it up because of the mods. So I generally only ever played that.
Oh yeah, all the ladder, the custom matches.
It was insane, dude. Like the mod community is the reason why World of Warcraft exists.
Yeah.
Like that game was created as a mod.
No, wait. Here's the story. I thought the Dota games.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah. The MOBA games.
You're right.
I mean, that is huge still.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's become a whole
And so
thing.
I mean, it's not considered cheating, but like when I played games that like made you a little bit overpowered. Like it wasn't like a standard game the way the game's supposed to play. So like, but it made that more fun. You know, like it was a game where it was a one-shot kill. So as long as you hit anybody, they're dead. But the thing is, you're also dead in one shot. So you're running around, you know, trying to play very, very decisively. I mean, it's a mod for it, you know. But the thing is, like, it changes the way the game is completely meant to be played.
Right.
You know. But you found enjoyment in that.
Absolutely.
And then obviously it was a collective thing where people went into these games knowing it has this specific rule as opposed to the standard game. So that's something like that made it enjoyable, you know. And single player game adding these cheat codes, you know, like power overwhelming, it adds enjoyment to someone's game. You know, it just is what it is. There's people that want to play it the way the game is meant to be played. They'll play it that way. And there's people that just want to enjoy a game where they feel like they're overwhelming the opponent, and they'll play it that way.
I know another question that's come up with this is like games that don't offer cheats or don't make it available, accessible, like easy to get into cheat codes or have an easier mode available to them. And people are like, why is that not provided to me? I expect that. I need, like, that is a demand now. Do you think it's that the developers should adhere to that or that they should be allowed to do what they like, in your opinion?
like there are games where like the pamphlets, like the little booklets that you receive when you buy a physical game, it'll have these codes in there for you. But like Grand Theft Auto, I don't think has ever had that. Like how did?
Well, like I don't think Dark Souls has had cheat codes, right?
No,
but it doesn't have cheat codes, does it?
And it doesn't have easy mode, right?
It has mods. People have modded, like they can play as bosses, but there are.
But
no
like
cheat
with
codes.
Grand Theft Auto, like I remember, like my first experience is like I literally went to like the school library, found like a fucking online article that gave me all these cheat codes, paid 25 cents to print this fucking page, and I would like, this was my holy grail of cheat codes, you know, like, and I would like, but I don't like, where did that internet get at the time? Like, where did that list come from?
I think some of it came from developers would give to some journalists at those times codes to break the games in ways to make it so they could finish the game faster, so that they could then. And then these codes trickled.
So you're telling me is that journalists have always cheated these games?
I'm just saying that was maybe one of the ways.
You're telling me there's a conspiracy theory about these journalists?
I don't think game developers should cater to like an easy mode. Because like for example, like From Software, I think they take pride in we make hard games.
Yeah.
And this is our game, and it's only for a specific group of people, and you get what you get. Which is funny is people will play this hard game like, oh, we're going to make it harder. I'm just not going to level up. And it's just like, holy shit. So Miyazaki for Dark Souls 2, he made it hard to do a Souls level 1 run. People were still doing Souls level 1 run.
But the thing is, like, obviously Miyazaki never made these games intending it for it to be like easy or easier or have these easier difficulties. And it still isn't that way. The thing is, someone created a mod on the PC. Mm-hmm. Someone obviously did something that the game wasn't designed for and changed it that way. So like that's obviously has nothing to do with Miyazaki. And so that's something it's out of his hands. Like the fact that it's just on PC. Mm-hmm. Where
right. I just meant with it from outside, taking away the outside stuff. Mm-hmm. For if people are like, I want an easy mode or I want these things available, make it available. And do you think there's an obligation on the developer side?
I don't think so. No, because on the developer side is they have a story they want to tell and they have a way they want to specifically tell it. And if it's through a difficulty setting that they want like to be permanent, that's the way they're going to do it. If it's through, just the fact that it's just an amazing story and they want to tell it that way, and people can enjoy the story by being an ungodly figure by making it easy mode, or making it, or a godly figure, and then, making it so extremely difficult that someone wants to have that challenge, like in God of War, like I did not play on the hardest difficulty, but one of the most hardest challenges was those Valkyries, which I found one of the most enjoyable things to do is fight those things,
Yeah, I also don't think that there's any obligation for them to do it. They're artists. They want to make something and they want to sell something.
Yeah.
They choose how they want to do that. And if it sells or is artistic in the way they want, then that's their choice. It's also on my choice to play that game or to try to beat it or to figure out ways to get around it.
I think at the end of the day, a game is a story like a book, and you can either choose to physically read the book yourself or go through an audio.
Yeah, and the other thing is that's a good point. You mentioned the story. If people are complaining, for instance, about I want to know what happens, fucking watch a Let's Play. Like it's not that hard nowadays to resolve that issue, to going through it. Like if the gameplay's too hard of something, watch someone play it.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, I don't want to like lock people into something like that. Like if some people want to play a game themselves and enjoy it firsthand, this story, like so I don't want them to be like, yeah, you'll have to no cheats for you. You're forced to like watch a YouTube video of someone playing it.
Well, then what do you do with someone who doesn't like? We're well informed. We know what type of who From Software is, but like some random person picks up the game, starts trying to play it, doesn't know the first thing about From Software. They're like, what the hell? I can't do anything. And then they're like, I don't want. Do I return it or should there? How do you indicate to someone that nature of a game? Like, is it?
There's 2 words. Get good. No, I was kidding.
I'm just saying, like they advertise violence and ratings. Do you think
but they don't advertise difficulty?
I mean, I don't know if they should. I'm just asking. I'm posing the question. Like, does that factor into a purchase of like knowing that.
Damn, I feel like game developers should make a demo. Like
demos, that's fantastic.
I don't know, dude. The Monster Hunter demos were never fucking.
They gave you a sense.
They were never beginner friendly, dude.
Now they are. They've been the past couple games.
I remember
Freedom Unite was not.
Yeah, I remember my first demo. I was like, the fuck? I immediately got obliterated.
I will say this. Like, for instance, the Monster Hunter World, the demo has 3 versions. There's the first fight, pretty easy. Second fight, still moderately easy.
And they have it set up. It says like,
and the hardest one.
Yeah.
And the hardest one was the way that
had full health. Like, he was not cut down
and
for the demo.
Your timer is shorter than a normal timer. And so as long as that one was that way, I was fine because it's like, this is the challenge. If you want to experience what the game's like, these are the other 2, but this is the challenge.
No, I remember in Freedom, I think it was like, it wasn't even difficulties. It was just like, here are different settings for weapons. Choose the one you want. Here's the monster. And it was like Bongluglaga or whatever the fuck.
It was hard. I remember it was hard.
Yeah.
I almost did not pick up the game. But then I was like, you know what? I want to fucking learn this game. And I fucking...
But it's a demo, so you learn that from the door. Like,
I mean, the reason why is like, I got beat up and I was like, you know what? I want to pick up the game, start from the beginning and see what this game is like. And it turned out like the game itself is set up perfectly. But
would it have been better in your eyes if the game that demo was super easy? And then you play it and then you're like, what the fuck is this? Like Rajang, dual Rajang? Like,
well, I don't think like the beginning of the game isn't like that. It gets there over time and the game is paced perfectly. I think from if the demo was super easy, it wouldn't have given me that issue anyways, because the game starts out not very difficult. It asks you to fight, but like a bull.
The bulk of the game is the challenging fights,
right?
So
but it leads into that. It's not like the game doesn't drop you and here fight a Rajang while you're level 1. You know, it gives you missions that leads into these harder monsters. Okay. So it paces you to get better as a gamer. The demo was just immediately like, here's a really difficult monster. At the time, there was no difficulty setting on that demo. It was here's...
I get that. I'm just saying, like, you're well equipped in that demo. It's just a matter of your skill and controls. And I think that's better. It sounded like you were saying that was a bad demo.
I think it was a bad demo, but it somehow still got
it still got you.
It still worked for me because I was like, you know what? There's more to this game, and I want to learn it. Even though I never killed that boss in that demo.
Yeah, but I think that's a good sampling of a demo. That's what I'm trying to say is that it gave you an idea of what to try to go for, and it's achievable, and you can get that with practice.
But you were saying that like someone who doesn't know from software picking up Sekiro, if they didn't know this and they were just immediately like, this is too hard, like if that was a demo version, they'll be like, I'm just not going to pick up that game. If something feels
they would
difficult,
know. What I'm saying is that they would know that is what they can expect from certain parts of this game. Again, this is a sample of it, so there's probably like a beginning part, a really hard part, which is maybe more difficult than what they face, and that if this is the sort of challenge and puzzle solving that they want to face, that's what they can expect. I think that's a line they have to tweak. But I'm saying that the fact of providing a demo, I think Jeng mentioned, I think that's a great way of doing it, of just being like, sample it, taste the, whatever, however we tweak that demo is up to us, but get a taste of this before sinking your feet into this whole game. I think that could, I don't know, this went on a tangent on demos, but I think that can alleviate some of this expectation or shock of like, what, this game's hard? I want easy mode.
I know that there are people out there that pick up games without ever looking into it. But I think that's a consumer error. Like that's something that they should, they can't be angry when picking up a blindly a game and be like, this is the most insanely hard thing I've ever picked up.
Yeah, educate yourself. You're right. But I'm just saying, like, if you don't know what questions to ask, then how can you get an answer for those questions? Like, I know that I wanted an adventure game set in like
when you're a kid, it's hard too. Like you're like, oh, that looks cool. I want to get the guy with the bone arm.
I want that ninja sword.
Well, hopefully those kids aren't getting these games because it's like the M rating or whatever.
I mean, fuck, I beat fucking Breath of the Wild. I mean, Link to the what the fuck? Wind Waker.
Have you ever had it? We're going through all this Spirit Train.
I beat Ocarina of Time as a kid, and I thought that was an
I'm just saying mature content. I don't think that was...
No, but I feel like that was a difficult game. Like, people are always talking about the water level. I didn't have issues with the water level. Damn. But, like, as a kid, like, playing that, like, now again as, like, an adult on the 3DS, I was like, how the fuck did I figure this out as a kid, dude? Like, you know? And so, just don't fall a kid, dude. He's a good ninja, man. That's all I'm saying.
I feel this weird thing. This article in particular got, like, a games journalist ranting thing. Like, shade.
I just feel like the thread was crazy because it brought out the From Software elitists. Like, it's like the Monster Hunter elitists.
Really?
Like, they were just
purists and
destroying this dude. And I was like, damn, dude, like, he wants to play it like that. Let him play it.
What I think is funny is they're making fun of him for being a journalist and not playing a game without cheats, like not beating the game without cheats. But like you were saying, like these codes have existed. Like the Konami code was always a code there that existed for journalists in the first place to help get through a game and its story to be able to review it. It wasn't about...
I think there's this pressure in society or not society, but just in gaming culture where it's like reviews have to come out on release date.
Yeah.
And whether a developer is giving them enough time to do that, it's like, how do I get an opinion? And if they decide to do a part of the game, they get criticized. If they don't finish the game, they get criticized. If they finish the game a certain way, they get criticized. It's like, fuck, I'm getting criticized. I feel like they shouldn't even disclose how they played the game. Just be like, I played the game. This is my review. Don't ask questions.
This kind of off tangent, but Ninja was streaming Sekiro and people were criticizing him. And I'm watching him play. I'm like, he's not the best, but he's not bad. Like, I was actually impressed by his Sekiro skills. I was like, he's not that bad, actually. He beat Lady Butterfly. I was like...
He runs around a lot, though.
He's right. I mean...
I'm like just joking.
People are just...
It's a show of...
The internet culture.
Yeah,
it's unwinnable situation.
Exactly.
It's
that small minority, dude. That's the vote.
It's the Kobayashi Maru.
No, it's the hive mind, dude. One person says something like, yeah.
Did you see that Kevin Hart thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought the Joe Rogan Kevin Hart.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh. They clipped it or memed it?
Yeah, they clipped it. It's like someone's like, this is Twitter.
He talks about the toxic Twitter and the trolls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where they're behind something and they can say whatever they want.
It's popular to be controversial. Like, so if everyone's like, this is good, and someone's like, man, that shit suck. And someone else is like, yeah, it does suck. Yeah. And they,
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and then they have
Well, I was mentioning it's no-win scenario, and I'm trying to figure out a way to segue into this. But my friend was saying, he's like, oh, there might be some parallels to this, and I was like, I'll look into that. And it's the Kobayashi Maru simulation in Star Trek. Of that simulation it was Captain Kirk, and it was testing pilots and commanders and officers of Starfleet, and it was a stranded ship or a abandoned ship, not abandoned ship. It was like a ship just in neutral space, and if they're sending a distress call because they're in, Klingons could come take them out. So you have to make a decision whether to help this ship or to leave it out to die. And if you help it, you're faced with so many insurmountable people that you can't save them, you'll die. But if you don't help it, you save your crew, but everyone on the ship dies.
Yeah.
What do you do? And every time people have taken this test in the Star Trek where they try to take on the ships, they try to do different strategies. It's unwinnable. They made it so it's like unwinnable. And the intended point is, how do you react as a captain of a ship, or how do you react to a situation that is unwinnable? What characteristics do you exhibit? And Kirk, what he had done is he had modified the conditions of the simulation such that he could win them. And he's like, I realized the game wasn't fair, so I wasn't fair, or something to that effect. Right. And he's like, it's not cheating. I just changed the rules. And some people are like, that's acceptable, or that's not acceptable.
Right. Or like that is cheating.
Yeah, or that isn't okay, or that is okay. And you didn't face the intended challenge. You changed the challenge altogether. Mm-hmm. And I think there's some similarities to be drawn with some of what we've been talking about, where it's like, the intention is to show how your skills are, but like if that's not how you like to change it, it is up to the consumer to be like, I don't want to play that game. I'm changing how the rules of this back and forth go, where you make the game, I play it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to modify it or whatever. Yeah. Or you can choose to let that pressure hit you and be like, what is my play style or skill under this pressure? I don't know. I thought that was an interesting thing where it's like you're faced with like, I don't know what to do or... Yeah,
I think ultimately this whole debacle is part of like that gamer elitist type thing, or like the entitled gamer, and also the fact that like the knowledge has been forgotten that like journalists. The reason these cheat codes. I mean, obviously this.
I don't think that's the only reason though. It was it was one of them, but they existed.
But the thing is, I feel like back in like 1990s, like it was. I wouldn't say like completely common knowledge, but there was knowledge available to know that these cheat codes were created for journalists. It wasn't just, oh, this game has cheat codes to have fun. It was to be able to beat a game within this time limit that people are given to write a review. It's been a normal thing.
I know that was one of the reasons. I don't think that's the only reason. I think it's we talked about it though, but I was like, it was one, but it wasn't like
it is the one true reason.
Okay.
I feel like game journalists back then actually played the game. I was kidding.
There was so few games, but the other thing is there's Game Sharks and shit. Like those things existed for a lot of people, and you didn't even think about it. You just like plug this and auto code or whatever, and like all of a sudden my game can do shit that it could do.
But
before.
that's a thing that I think like nowadays, like all this is going away from it. Like
I think because a lot of games are going online, and when it gets into online, people are like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Because then now you're getting into I'm taking advantage of another player or getting a advantage over them in a way where they can't.
Well, the thing is, like with Game Shark, I feel like these were simpler games, like these more advanced games that are not even if they're online. It's just like they're not being designed with these cheat codes or with these design things in mind. Like Metro. Like I don't think Metro was created to have or like be able to be cheated. It's a single player game.
It's got mods now. I'm saying that before,
but the mods are user created, right? It's not the
developers don't make them. But the Game Shark isn't a developer made cheat thing.
Yeah, it was never just developer, right.
If this game has ammo, give me infinite of it. If this game has health, give me infinite of it.
But when you the thing is when you use the word mod, you don't think of a cheat mod. You think of a mod that just changes the way the game is designed. Like instead of me being a male character, I am now a female character.
No, there's mods you can do. Like there are mods where you can make it auto aimbot.
Oh right. No, I know that those mods exist, but I think when people think of a mod, it's not generally thought of like, oh, it's a mod for me to play the game easier. I usually think of a visual mod. At least that's personally like when I think of Skyrim. I think of fucking
high res
Macho Man.
Yeah, there's those, but I also think there are ones where it's like this. Now all of my key bindings are such that like auto do these 4 spells or whatever. Like those things. Like
yeah, Skyrim was one of the bigger ones with mods.
Yeah,
and Fallout. Some mods got so popular that the game designed into updates. You know, like there was a mod to build your own house, and they literally made, I think it was called Dragonfire or something like that, an update for Skyrim where you could just build your own house. It was based off of a mod, So it's just that's why I think of a mod as a visual thing.
It goes in all directions.
It does.
It's a free country. Everyone can do whatever they want. As long as they pay for it, I guess. Like, if you buy a game, I'm like...
Pay to win? What?
Shit.
I mean, if he cheated in the whole thing and did a review, I would have problems with that.
Well, yeah, because I feel like... Okay, if it's... Going back to the journalist thing, I think you raise a good point. If they're trying to give a feedback of, like, how an experience of a game is, I think that can skew it. But if... I mean, this is, I guess, circumstantial or subjective, but... If depending on how they write their point, they could be like, "This is very difficult. I had to seek assistance, and after so many tries, it became nerve-wracking." Or however they want to tailor it, but address it like to some degree of being like, "This is very challenging." So I went to extra lengths to try and figure out how to be this, whatever whether I want to disclose that or not, whatever. But for a regular player, this is a thing they could face. What do I recommend to them, or how would I review it based on that? I don't know. It could be a rewarding experience. I think like at least being conscientious of like, not everyone's going to do what this guy did. should be a factor. I don't know.
Should a guy get in trouble for cheating?
On his
Well, the thing is, like, there's these games. There's the gamers that are like, they're elitists. They want these things. But these guys aren't writing these reviews. They're not even they're playing these games and that's it. And then they go online and talk shit on people. But they're not over here making these reviews. Like it's this guy. It's his job, and he might not be the best at a Dark Souls game, but he's going to be better at different games. But it's his job to have these reviews. I can't fault the guy for doing codes. But yeah, again, like I think he shouldn't be cheating at every level.
It's a crazy cycle because these reviews go into Metacritic, and Metacritic can sometimes dictate the pay of the developers. Mm-hmm. So it is like, what is okay, what isn't? Like, where do people? And I think each writer should be the judge of like. Yeah. Where is that okay? As long as they're conveying to like the average consumer that is playing this game and capturing that feeling to the best of their abilities, I think that's where it becomes okay. But if it hinders that or skews that, then that I think is an issue. Where it's like, I played a different game entirely. Like,
if he cheated so much, like these cheats he was doing, like got in his review, he's like, yeah, when you slash him, he dies in one hit. Like it works.
Yeah, I'm like,
wait, what? That's not the case. It's like. Stuff like that. But like, I mean, at least I feel like a journalist would be competent enough not to
I hope so.
Skew it in a term of like, if he cheated the whole entire game, he starts writing about these things he experienced from the cheat rather than what the game actually is supposed to be experienced as. But yeah.
Final thoughts, Jay. Get good.
I think it's fine.
2 words.
I think it is fine.
It is.
I guess it is fine to a degree. Obviously, there's that threshold where if it's 100% cheating the game
for the reviewer.
Yeah.
Cool. Final topic. Let's talk about final things. Endgame's coming up on Avengers.
The end of the podcast. Perfect.
End of the podcast is coming up. This episode, at least. Game of Thrones. I was talking to my friend again, who I mentioned earlier. And we were talking about like, what if the ending of Game of Thrones isn't satisfying? And I'm like, you know what? Like, is that like, despite how I felt about everything leading up to the end, will that really impact how I feel about the whole product? And I started thinking about a lot of things. I'm like, has that done that in the past for me? And I want to know with you guys as well if you have any experiences where a franchise or a series or a book, series of books, or like something you followed for a while, comic books even, that you followed, and then you finally reach a finale, and it either was really satisfying and it changes, like maybe it was mediocre, but then it became amazing, or maybe it was amazing and then the ending happened and it just soured everything. What stood out to you? Why? I kind of want to just go around the table.
I think the thing is also there's different types of endings. There's a closed ending. There's open-ended endings, and I'd like to talk about one of each. Sword Art Online.
The show,
the anime specifically. There is more than one season at this point. When I had watched it, it was one season. Okay. This season had a great beginning, had a great middle, and it had a great end. It literally had a situation happen. The whole situation's happening, and then it has a closure. It has an ending to the point where like they get rid of this problem, and everyone's done. Everything's happy. That's it. Like it ends at that point, and you're like, this is really good. I'd like it to continue within that, like that. Obviously, that whole world that's going on with that, But then the next season doesn't work out very well. Like it's not a very good season. So I would consider season 1 just a complete beginning and end to what I would like to enjoy. But it ends very well. Like it has closure. They get out of the situation and they all live happily ever after, and it just ends there. And then there's like Love, Sex, Robots has the episode where they have to hibernate. The one that you said like, oh, I knew you were gonna like it. That has an open-ended ending to me. Like it ends with him going back into the Piper pod and just like accepting what's happening.
I don't think it was his choice.
Well, see, at that point, we don't know. Like, we don't know.
But exactly. We don't know he accepted.
So that I feel like that's an open ending, but it ends and you're still like, I'm still satisfied with that. Like I'm still happy. Like I don't know if he's just playing dumb and doesn't realize like this is or if he thought this was all a dream. Like there's just different possibilities, or he's just so in shock he doesn't know how to fucking handle this right now. That is an open ended to me, but that I still felt satisfied with that, even though obviously it's just like a 10-minute episode of something. That had a really good ending to me, even though it's not a closed ending. So there's like, those are two things for me. What about you guys?
Bad endings do not hinder my love for a series. I'm going to put two examples. Sopranos. I had never finished Sopranos, but I got a good chunk of it done. I know the ending. The story is so good, doesn't hinder me. The second one is, damn. I'm going to get some flack. Cowboy Bebop. I did not like the ending to Cowboy Bebop. Everything in between was excellent. And it doesn't make me... I feel like good endings make me love a series more, but I still like the journey getting to that ending. So if...
Even if it was a bad ending.
Game of Thrones has a bad ending, I'm still going to enjoy the series. Okay. But a good ending will make me definitely love the series.
It elevates it. Yes. I see. Yeah, I'm like for me that I experienced, but I experienced it after a cultural just like conversation of how bad it was Mass Effect. I had been in love with the franchise. I played 1, I played 2. I have very fond memories of it, and I hadn't got to 3 yet because I kept putting it off in my backlog. But then I kept hearing about, oh my god, this is the worst ending of all time. They need to fucking change this now. Like they were like, update this shit. This is not acceptable. That was the type of volume. And I had coworkers that were like, don't talk about Mass Effect to me. Like, it still hurts what they did. I'm like, what the fuck did they do? Like, it was so good. So I played it, and I'm like, I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
But it was like, all right, I guess that's the ending. And I don't remember the ending as well as I remember all the things leading up to it. And I'm like, wow, I wonder, like, maybe it's just like a different way people anticipate storytelling, where it's like they want a big payoff at the finale. They want everything to come together and just explode, and with like this revelations of stuff. And if they don't get that, it didn't mean anything. Like all this stuff was pointless or whatever because of an expectation set of the longer something is or something. And I always wonder, like, what other things could have that, or when has that happened, and to some degree to me or to others. I also think of like a lot of times that sort of things, the endings of these things gets muddled when you don't know whether a show's going to keep going or not. So like I remember Korra, Legend of Korra. They were only set for 1 season. So they wrote it as if they only had 1 season, and they put a type of ending to it where like that's it, done. Because there was a certain story arc and a certain antagonist. And then they did so well, and the studios were like, you know what, change our mind. We want you to keep going. And they're like, how do we keep going story-wise? So they figured out a story, and it kind of lost its momentum, but then it regained it and gained focus. And they just kept going, and they built towards a larger story. And I remember the fumbling because it was just like this like improvised how they go. And I don't know. I don't know, like... you mentioned two that had bad endings. Like, what were some that were good for you? Like,
The Wire for sure. Damn, it's a realistic ending. There's no happy ending. I mean, like, real life is not happy endings. So The Wire resonates with me. And there's a payoff in one of the characters. And I was just like, fuck.
I mean, one of mine is controversial because it kind of, our family was divided on where we stood on this, and very much everyone and me.
I know.
Lost.
Yeah, I loved the ending.
It was very ambiguous, and depending on how you looked at it, you could be like, that's a dumb, stupid cop-out, or you could be like, there's so many subtexts and layers to that like I can see it on a more abstract and all this stuff. And I was in that camp. I was like, I love what it's reaching at and trying to go for, and people are like, no, that's...
I feel like people who don't like that ending don't understand the ending to Lost. There's a really good article that explains what really happened at the end, and I was like, "Fuck, this is really well written."
Well, then,
like,
do you think that the criticism could be that it didn't convey an ending properly?
I disagree because, damn, spoiled. When the character was,
I mean,
like,
it's been forever.
when he's doing his monologue, he's like, "Listen to what I say. Listen carefully," and he explains it. And if you just listen to it,
Which character?
Jack's dad.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, is that
his dad. He's like, listen, I'm going to tell you, and you got to listen carefully. And he explained the ending or what that last season was. And I was like, fuck, this is fucking genius, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's cool to see that. You were gonna say something?
Well, at least with Lost, like that, when you saw it the first time, did you understand it?
It was all right. I was like, I thought of it more abstract. It wasn't like clear cut.
Even if I didn't understand what they were trying to say, I had an impression of it that I was satisfied with. Learning if what their intentions are just adds to it for me. It's like, oh, they were meaning this, and I didn't even catch that, or this or that. Like, it's like watching a Jordan Peele movie for me in some ways, where it's like, I got this out of it, but he also was really pushing, like, his inspirations for this or his fuel for that motive or this came from this, and I'm like, whoa, like, I might not resonate with that, but it adds to it.
Did you end up watching the new Twilight Zone?
Not yet, no.
Okay, that would have been like a good ending to talk about, I think.
But I know we're talking about just endings to individual things, but I'm trying to capture more like things that have gone for a while, like a series that has gone for a while, or a book that franchise has got. Like Harry Potter, for instance.
I'm gonna have to change my thing since you brought up the Twilight Zone. If there's a work of art that has a twist ending and the twist ending sucks, it ruins it for me. So imagine if you watch Fight Club and the ending of Fight Club sucked. I would have been like, this movie sucks.
He was actually two people the whole time.
So that Twilight Zone, the build-up was so good. It was so good, and then the revelation, I was like, I don't.
Do you think it's more often in one way or the other for a finale of a long-standing thing? Do you think that more often than not they don't hit the mark, or more often than not they satisfy? In your opinion?
It's hard to say because I'm trying to think of like long series
MASH,
that I
Friends,
finished.
Seinfeld, people hate that ending.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I haven't seen any. Like,
well, animes. You've watched a lot of longer animes.
I mean,
did you watch Naruto?
I've seen up until this, like right before he becomes like an adult or whatever, like a teenager.
Oh, Shippuden stuff.
Yeah, like I've seen just before that. So I mean, I haven't seen. That's like a super long one.
Sure. You watched Korra, Avatar?
Well, Korra is only one season.
No, it's 4 seasons.
4 seasons.
Avatar is 3 seasons.
I've seen all of Avatar, but Avatar had a really good ending. So I'm trying to think of like
Full Metal Alchemist, Evangelion.
I haven't seen it. I'm waiting for Netflix.
Evangelion.
Hurry up, Netflix. I think if I really think about it, I mean, overall, I can only think of like I pick up happy thoughts like when I'm thinking about it. So I feel like overall they've usually hit the mark. Even when something is bad, at least for personally, when something ends bad, it affects my overall review to someone of what that what I'm going to say about it. But I think personally, I still enjoy like those moments that this like piece of art has. This work of art. But I do tend to like downplay like the whole series as a whole less if it has a bad ending.
Okay.
Like when I'm talking to someone about it.
I think that it goes into schools of thought of like, do you appreciate the destination more, the path,
the journey? Yeah.
You know what I kind of hate? I mean, not hate's a bad word. Dislike is those to be continued. You know, when a series is not over, like for example, like I don't know, Harry Potter, like it's like a to be continued on the next
with
movie.
The parents and stuff, or with like in the future.
Yeah,
the end of it.
Yeah, like it's not like the series isn't complete like of a movie. They were like, oh, it's to be continued type of ending.
Each individual Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, those
of Harry Potter.
No. Those kind of endings. I know it's still continuing, but
yeah, it's a chapter in a bigger book.
Yeah.
Well, then do the Marvel movies bother you? Because they sort of do that, don't they?
It's about to end, though. We'll see.
I mean, not really, though.
They do, but they kind of put closure to their story arc in that movie.
Okay.
So
I feel like something like I see in endings, like you mentioned, to be continued, like open-ended, closed. Another thing you tend to see sometimes, I guess, more in the sci-fi maybe, is cyclical. It's like this is the end of the cycle, but like everything continues. Like, I mean, it's been a while.
If Game of Thrones has that, like the White Walkers, it's a connects war. Would you be upset?
No.
There's Final Fantasy X has the cyclical. You find out like you fight the final boss, and you find that there's no end to it. Like it's just going to be another cycle of
Battlestar Galactica.
I was about to say.
I haven't seen that one.
Will you?
I will.
See that
in 10 years.
Ending I considered to be weak, but it doesn't make a dent on the series. The series is fantastic. Like everything.
I really enjoyed that series, and I
was just thinking about
that.
This.
Just hit him, no, just like
no.
When a finale hits you that hard,
that shows one of the first few moments where I had those oh shit moments, and
I feel like you finished that
at the end of season 1.
What?
Season 1, where a Cylon does something to someone.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
I thought it was from
And then the revelations of Cylons later, I was like, whoa, I didn't know this person was a Cylon. Oh man, good series.
It's a good stuff.
The thing is, like, I'm trying to think of like long series, and I've never finished this shit.
Battlestar.
Like, Harry Potter, I haven't seen the last.
What about books or comics?
Breaking Bad.
No.
Breaking Bad, yeah.
I've not. I've watched like the first 2 seasons.
Hi, Mark.
I've only seen the first 2 seasons.
What about games? Like,
yes, it's hard to like bring up like
The Last of Us. I think it has a good ending. It's open ended.
well, I'm thinking like, okay, what's something that has had several games and it came to you had a
God of War, but
besides Mass Effect, like think along the lines of like Mass Effect. God of War, yeah, I'd say to some degree.
Yeah, I mean that was a good game.
Series of games, though. I'm saying, like, I mean, it's not ending.
See, it's hard to come up with something.
Shows are easier.
Ocarina of Time had an open ending.
Yeah. Okay. Here's what I was gonna get at. What about things that go beyond when that you should have stopped?
Yeah, that's Sword Art Online.
Okay, that's one. But you didn't continue. You did stop.
No, I did continue.
Oh, you did?
I've seen season...
Oh, okay.
I've seen season 2, and there's a season 3 that just finished. I don't know if it just finished, but I've seen that.
Well, like, I'm thinking like 70s show Scrubs. Both of those shows, half the main cast left
like
the shows, and it just kept going.
You know what should have stopped? Big Bang Theory.
Should already
Zinga. He's joking.
See, but that show's never been good though. So
ooh, shots fired.
Have you seen like the video of like they take off the laugh tracker and when they make these jokes, it's just like
painful.
What the fuck?
Oh my god.
But yeah, I mean, like the moment there are times where I'm like, maybe you should have ended sooner. And I think along with what you said with Sword Art, where I'm like,
I didn't have this complaint, but Breaking Bad could have ended on season 4.
100%.
I was like, that was a good ending. I was
How
like,
many
wow.
seasons is it? 5?
Yeah.
5.
Okay.
I was like, they could have ended it right there.
But then
I'm satisfied.
They need that money.
Wait, you brought a bomb to a hospital?
Yeah, I just kind of want to observe a little bit about
Yeah.
endings and finales.
I think a bad ending does affect me. A bad ending overall affects my overall view. But if I talk about excerpts of something with a bad ending, I can still be unbiased within that excerpt. But
I think also an ending to these franchises or series or whatever you want to call them, kind of maybe sheds light on what the artist's or creator's intent was. Like you either get or don't understand what they were going for with all this or what they wanted to tell with all this. And that kind of highlights at the end where it's like it all boils down to whatever it may be, like whether it's Lost or some of these other shows, like conflicts or relationships or something or several things or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of cool because you get a little bit more insight. Whereas everything in the middle, it's like these are journeys. We don't know where they're going. And I don't know, maybe that says something about us where we don't like something to be finite. We like stuff that just keeps going regularly. Yeah.
Reservoir Dogs. How do you like that ending?
I don't know. It's okay.
So at the end, you realize one is a cop and the other one is a criminal.
Yeah.
And it
just shoots out, right?
pans away. No, it pans away and you hear a shot.
Yeah. I don't know how a good way to articulate this, but my main emphasis was when you've been with something, like it's like become this regular thing, and then it comes to a close. And I don't know if I have enough time with a movie to get any of that. Like what you're trying to get at with Reservoir Dogs, I'm like, yeah, it was a movie. Like
exactly.
Like if it was like several, like Quentin Tarantino filmmaking, like will I get closure to that? Will he like do like a grand magnum opus to like cap off his career?
Which was supposed to already happen. So now I'm really disappointed.
No, 10 films. It's his 9th.
This one's his 9th.
Wait, but he had said 10 films? Didn't he say something smaller than that?
No, I said 10.
Or wasn't a movie counting, so there was supposed to be like, now there's 11 or something?
True Romance he wrote. He didn't direct.
Okay.
I don't know if you're counting that one.
No, there was a whole thing about like, does this count? And like, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, like the problem with me is like, I can't think of a long series that I've finished. Apparently I fucking quit on things all the time. Just I'm a quitter in general, you know?
What would World of Warcraft ending look like even? Like would it just be like a homage to everything?
War never ends.
See, like that would, I feel like that would like, be like a grand thing.
Story-wise though.
But
like
story-wise, it's always been two factions. You have like the Alliance, you have the Horde. And then there's different like races within those factions. I mean, the two endings could be like a friendship is created between these two factions.
To some new beginning.
A new beginning, yeah. And so, because right now what's happening is the Horde has lost their main chief, and now someone else has picked up that mantle, and they immediately destroyed an entire city from the Alliance side. And the Horde hasn't. I mean, the Horde is seen obviously as like like an enemy or just a bad in general to humans. So like you would be like they're the bad guys when you think of like a good versus evil, but they've never done anything, I guess, this intense. So this is just random. Everyone's like, what the fuck? Like even the people that are supposed to be bad guys are like, what the fuck? And so like there's this. So now there's going to be. It seems like there's going to be a grouping of people on both Horde and Alliance to stop this new Horde war chief.
Interesting.
So that could be an ending there. But the thing is, like, they've always continued to have some type of conflict. You know, like they always seem to write a conflict in there. Okay. So that's just like their cyclical thing is just there's always that battle between both. It's hard to say. Like it's either fucking. I mean, you can't kill everyone, so someone's always going to take up a mantle of being the king of the Alliance and the war chief of the Horde. So the only ending I can think of is friendship or an alliance, essentially, between those two. That's what I can think of.
That's the Game of Thrones ending right there.
Oh shit! There you go.
You know one thing that should end? The Walking Dead.
Oh, that's one that's taking it too far, you know.
Do you mean the comic book or the show?
I don't know. I kind of mean. I don't know if I mean the show anymore. I feel like I've been keeping up with the comic, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like
the I don't know if they're the enemy, but the group that they meet now.
The Whisper?
No. The big group that they meet now. There's like an organized group.
Yeah,
that is very realistic, I think. Meeting a very organized group.
Yeah.
What about like? I feel like comic books can like extend too long usually.
I think though with a lot of these things that you're like because the business is what it is, they keep going. But what you'll get is milestone or closure to a chapter in someone's life, and I think that's the best way they can go about a lot of these comics. I think though miniseries like Watchmen, for instance. Mm-hmm. And a few like Dark Knight Returns and others where it's like a self-contained story, they typically keep it going or have some sort of like resolution that's satisfying.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But again, that would be more like a movie. So an ongoing series, they keep faking that things close or that things end, but then they just make it so that when it comes back, they make a big deal of it.
Yeah.
So it's like a cop out in some ways.
Sometimes they do it good.
Yeah, they can do a good farewell.
Superior Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. It did, like, even though you're like, these characters are not gonna, these are staples of the Spider-Man world, you got closure to a story and you're like, I feel that. I feel like a journey was taken for, what was it, a year? Of like, what it was Doc Ock somehow traded places, Freaky Friday'd with Peter Parker, and Doc Ock got Spider-Man's body while Doc Ock's body was dying. So Peter Parker's mind went who knows where. And Doc Ock lives pretty much a year of like within the world of Peter Parker, and created relationships of his own, ended relationships.
He wanted to prove that he could be a better Spider-Man.
So like, he ends his relationship with Mary Jane, I'm assuming.
But he does it. It's smart though, to why he did it, because he's like, people close to you get hurt, so I'm gonna end a relationship. And
so he does it to protect.
Peter Parker's still in his mind. He's like, holy shit, that's actually fucking smart. He's like,
it's sort of like a get like, out, but at the same time, it was just like I think it was like memories or something. Because later on, you kind of get revealed that he's sort of there, in the back. But yeah, he was doing things that like Peter was like, maybe I've just been like a bad planner, or like he gets his shit together. He's like, oh, you're going to be aggressive now in the workplace. You're going to get shit done. You're going to do this. And then he has relationships of his own, or he helps his Aunt May in different ways. He's like, I'm already better at being him than he was. I'm winning. Like, it was like this weird, but it came to an end, and it was like, it was over, and you weren't going to get that, even though if he came back, that story was over, like that experience was done, and that was kind of cool.
I really wished. No, this is a tangent for you. I wish he was still Spider-Man, like
superior.
Yeah, or he would have went into a clone or something.
That'd be cool.
Fuck, man.
But yeah, I mean, to answer like the main question, if I'm invested in a long series and it has a bad ending, I think it does affect me. It does affect my overall view.
Positively or negatively?
I think negatively. Like when I'm outspoken, or like when I'm speaking about something, I generally, it seems like I tend to focus on the bad things. So like when I watched, or when like, because I had seen Shazam two weeks earlier, and you asked me, did you like it? And I said no overall, because I only remember the bad parts. But then when he's talking about it, he's like, yeah, I like this part. Like, I'm like, yeah, I like that part. Yeah, I like that part. So I'm not like, I tend to focus on the bad.
But okay, last thing I'll bring up then. Do you feel like because a finale is a finale and in its nature, the hype builds up and expectations build up, and it kind of becomes this unwinnable scenario? It becomes a Kobayashi Maru, a no-win scenario of like, no matter what they do, people can and like.
No, I don't think that's always the case. Like, I mean,
would you say you get hyped for when a finale of something has come up, like a Game of Thrones or like a Avengers? In these cases, I'll use these as like real life cases. Yeah. You get a hype or an expectation.
So I can tell you, I'm hyped for Game of Thrones. Like, I'm excited to see what this season finale, like this whole season, is going to bring.
This show, series.
The series. The series is going to bring to a close. I'm excited to watch Endgame, but I'm not excited to see what it's going to bring. I'm just excited to continue being in this universe. Like, it's different for me. Like, I'm hyped. Like, you know how you said, like, it builds up, you get that hype. That's what's happening for me for Game of Thrones. That's not what's happening for Endgame. For Endgame,
I think though Endgame is, the good guys win. You already kind of know the ending, sort of.
Game of Thrones, but at what cost? I'm just like, what state will these like? I know we talk about deaths, and that's a thing that people can latch onto, but a lot of times it's what state of mind are people left in, even if it continues, or at who sacrifices and that sort of stuff. And I think that can be the unpredictable and like what like changes things. Like, for instance, Civil War, no one I don't remember anyone really dying in the movie, but like you saw relationships shift and tear, and I think that is impactful. Like, what if something on that level happens in Endgame and it cataclysmically changes the face of like how things have been working?
I still think he brings up a good point. I have no clue about Game of Thrones. Like nothing. This is a brand new thing to me. Like,
and you do about Endgame.
So I'm excited. Well,
dude,
no,
Game of
like
Thrones Endgame, fucking White Walkers.
although the story is unknown to me for Endgame, I know ultimately the good guys win. Like, I know that's going to happen. Like there isn't going to be like a. There isn't going to be like. Yeah,
I don't know if you do though.
We could put money. The good guys are going to win.
No. Well, the thing is like, but you're saying like there's small things like they're going to win, but
not
like
small
maybe
things.
half.
I don't think I'm saying like
there's going to be 1 or 2 major deaths. That's about it.
Again, I don't think deaths are the only thing that could be at a stake.
Right. Yeah,
if
people's minds
it costs everyone, no, not even. I'm just saying, like,
I feel like it's going to unite them. Actually, just after the battle, it's not going to cost anything.
I know
they're actually going to be more stronger united.
I know you're trying to say something that like there's still so much that can happen, even though there's like but it's just I don't know. Like, I'm not as excited for Endgame as I am for Game of Thrones. Like, that Game of Thrones has that build up, and I'm like, it now for me, it has an expectations for this ending. So there could be something that happens to be like, wow, they fucked it up, But for Endgame, I don't have that hype. It could be the shittiest fucking season that. I mean, I guess because I don't expect it to be that way, but it could be a pretty bad episode, and I won't be as let down.
So it's an episode for you, not a ending of sorts.
I guess, yeah, because I'm satisfied with everything that's happened with the Marvel universe. So I can't be like, I can't see it as like I guess a series for me, because they're individual movies to me. I don't see it as a series. So if this movie is bad, I don't see the previous movies being hurt, which is weird. I don't know how I see it that way when it comes to a series as well. But yeah, because it's one long story that's being told, but I still see it episodically for some reason. But I can't see that for I'm
confused because you're saying it's episodic, but then you're saying it's individual. Is what I'm getting.
I see it individually.
Okay.
So I don't see it as like one long story. So if one part of that story is bad, it ruins everything for me. I'm seeing it in sections. So if the ending is bad, I'm still okay with the previous episodes, with the previous movies. But for some reason, I don't see it that way for a series like Game of Thrones. Like if the last season is bad, I'm probably going to be like, this story was kind of shit, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know why. That's just how I see it. Okay. I can't explain it, but it's just how it is. Okay. A series is different than movies for me. I don't know.
But it's a series of movies.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't understand it. I can't explain it myself, but I'd be okay if the ending on this one was bad. I wouldn't be okay if the ending in Game of Thrones was bad.
Maybe I'm setting my expectations high of things mattering outside of the deaths, because a lot of times with especially comic books, you know as well as I do, Jang, death doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like it does. Like even when they try to make the death of Superman matter, which it becomes like they sell it, they hype it up, they make it matter at a dollar point. He's back, so everyone comes back in comics. So I feel like the movies follow suit, if anything, and we've seen that time and time again, either with a recasting, a reboot, a continuity thing with like Superman shaking in the grave and stuff. So to me, I've already have this like mindset of like, they could die and come back. Like they're going to come back at some point or another. So what else could they do that would be significant or that would matter? And that's where I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea what they could do. Like they could make two characters betray each other at the cost of saving the universe. And I'm like, wow, like that was a bond and they fucking threw it out the door to save mankind. And that would matter to me maybe. I don't know.
The thing is, ultimately, like even if this happens where like there's like a betrayal, I still like my mind, I still just see a simple thing of there's a good guy and a bad guy. The bad guy's going to lose. That's just how I see it. Even though like other things will be written in this story.
What has made you go up until this point? Has it been that way? I don't think it has. No, like in my opinion, it hasn't. But I think
as a bigger picture, I know what's going to happen. But like when it comes to Game of Thrones, it's really tough to decipher who's a good guy and who's a bad guy. If there's only two groups at all, like there's so many things. Like
but there aren't just two groups. I know there are the Avengers and everyone's assembled and stuff.
Right.
They assemble.
Well, yeah. There's the Avengers.
Like,
there's the.
Do the Guardians fall apart? Do like Wanda and Vision fall apart? Do the original Avengers and the newer Avengers have a rift? There's generations of changes and stuff, and I don't know. I think that's worth noting.
But all I know is Thanos is going down. That's it. That's all I know.
He has daughters.
She comes back, doesn't want revenge because obviously she hated her dad in the first place.
Well, there's the other daughter.
still doesn't want revenge because, well, I mean, she's gonna murder the shit out of her dad. But that's
so, are you seeing this movie? You know what's happening?
Well, no, like I don't know. It's just again, I feel like there's an expectation of the Avengers winning, even if the whole group breaks up.
What's been going on longer, Marvel Cinematic Universe or Game of Thrones?
No, Marvel for sure. The original Iron Man was like what 2000.
It's almost the same age, but Marvel's a little older.
Okay,
it's a little. Older.
I thought it was older. I was like,
because Game of Thrones is 9 years and Marvel's 10. But the 10 has passed. 10 years has passed. They took that big ass photo with everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Marvel movies just have this. I know the good guys are going to win. They will never. I mean, I'm not going to say they're never. They're just. There's not going to be a movie where the bad guy wins because it's going to upset so many people, like kids and like.
There's this expectation.
Was there?
It's like Star Wars. Like I feel like Star Wars will never have a movie where the bad guys win.
Like the Sith.
But is that the only thing that would matter?
It's predictable.
Like,
and that's what I don't.
Even if Luke wins, the fact that Vader was his father. And that was a challenge he had to face before winning. Doesn't that have any significance?
I guess, yeah.
Or Thanos. Let's take the good guy winning aside. Last movie, Thanos won, but like he says, at what cost? He killed.
I think
for the memory of like him killing his daughter, I was like, whoa. Like I think that added a complexity.
I'm not as invested in these Marvel characters. Like, to be honest, it doesn't hit me like Game of Thrones hits me. Like I'm not invested. They haven't provided that emotional like, damn, that hit me. Into the Spider-Verse was actually good though. That one hit me. But I mean yeah, the Marvel like the Game of Thrones characters, like I'm invested, man. Like fuck, Tyrion dies.
But okay, here's another thing for Game of Thrones side. John's died. Does it matter if he died? Like does that they can bring people back? Like, does that make?
I hope they don't do that.
See, but the thing is, like with that, there's restrictions. It's not like
are there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
magic.
I know. The thing is, but there is a select few of people that can actually get that handled. Like, and
until
most of those
they
people are
introduce
gone.
new character.
I mean, yeah, they could do that. They can write into that, and like, obviously, that's a super cheesy way to do it. And if they do it, I can't stop them. I can't be like, hey, rewind that, please, and don't do that anymore. Like I can't change that. But up until that point, I don't know if that's going to happen. But when it comes specifically to Marvel, first of all, I think it's funny that you keep trying to explain to us this thing, but
I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to like gauge in different respects. Yeah, maybe we just go to
because they keep only like.
Well, I'm starting to think of like Game of Thrones stuff now, so we could go into that a little bit. This is turning into Game of Thrones and Avengers Part 5.
But with Avengers,
sure.
You said Thanos wins in the last one. Yeah. But the thing is like knowing how this is going to happen, I know that win is going to get overturned in this new one. But
at the same way Thanos said, at what cost? At what cost?
Yeah.
That's where it's interesting to me. And with Game of Thrones, regardless of what happens in the end, it could like the way it is like at what cost do these things happen? Like end results will happen, whatever. Destinations will be reached. What's the journey going to be?
Yeah.
And that's like what we had been talking about. The journey is the interesting part to me.
Which I guess when it comes to seeing, like, I enjoy watching the journey. So I'm going to enjoy, that's why I know I'm going to enjoy watching.
Yeah, I think we're all three going to enjoy.
That's why I enjoy watching, or I'm going to enjoy watching Endgame.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I know that journey ultimately leads to Earth being okay. Which in turn I see that as the good guys winning, regardless of whether they all break up. You know, like it's still a win for Earth. It's still a win for humanity, and that's why I'm just like, that's ultimately the goal. That's ultimately what's going to end up happening. So I'm watching the movie to see that journey happen, but I know what that end game is going to be. But when it comes to Game of Thrones, I'm both enthralled in the journey and experiencing and watching it. And I'm also enthralled in what the ending's going to be because I don't know what that ending's going to be. I don't know whether the good guy's going to win, being like Daenerys or Jon. Sure. I don't know if the bad guy's going to win, being Cersei or someone else.
I would argue not about the ending. I agree with what you're saying there with Game of Thrones, but I would argue that certain elements of the show Game of Thrones have become in these last 2 seasons very predictable because the last season, I guess, more so than any other, became very. People want these answers, and it kind of felt at least like all of these things that people were like wanting happened. And I'm like, okay, well now every article you read is like Clegane Bowl is happening. Clegane's Bowl happens. I'm like, I kind of feel like I don't even have a wonder if it's gonna happen or not. It's happening, and I'm like, that kind of does it suck it out of me? I don't know. I'll when I get there, I'll find out. But to say that I would have just counterpoint that as much as Marvel might seem predictable, there are elements of Game of Thrones that also seem predictable.
See, that's
to some
funny.
degree. At least now, I feel like the books, I have no fucking clue. Anything. Like he could kill everyone that's in the show right now, and like a whole new cast of people show up, and I'd be like, that's J.R.R. Martin.
What I think is funny with you bringing Clegane Bowl, like it's for me knowing what's in like ultimately what will happen in Endgame. It's you ultimately knowing that Clegane Bowl is going to happen. But for me, it's when is it going to happen? Like that's my thought process. When is this going to happen? And again, there's like for me, I still see it as a good guy, bad guy. Like Clegane being the good guy, the Mountain being the bad guy, or the Hound. And so there's still like I don't know if. Well, I guess you could say it's going to be the Hound who's going to win, but like it's still unsure exactly. So that's
who knows. Like again, even if a thing that I think is going to happen that seems like everything's leading up to that is there, and I feel strongly that it's high money on it. It doesn't still take away that I'm excited for Game of Thrones. Just like with Marvel's Endgame, I'm like things are going to happen, but I'm still feel like there's a lot open for like what that could be interesting. This could be cool. Like
I guess
they're talented enough thus far to show me that they can entertain me, that I feel like I could still be entertained with these.
I think the reason why the knowing what will happen in Endgame takes it away is because that's the ultimate ending. Like that's the end. Like there's no with Game of Thrones, that Clegane Bowl isn't an ultimate ending. It's an arc within a longer story.
But if Avengers is continuing, then it's not an ultimate. I feel like there's something going beyond that. So then what do they do to set that up?
Right.
There's one thing that could surprise me in Endgame. If the cost is it kills all the Avengers and like new Avengers show up. That would surprise me. I would be like, fuck. But I don't know if they'll do that. Because Jeremy Renner has his own TV show, you know what I'm saying?
And it's crazy what real life takes away or adds to finales. I want to reel it back into finales before we end this podcast. But like when you know a casting or when you know a contract or something, that can impact like, oh, okay.
Homecoming. Or not Homecoming. Is it Far
From
Home?
Far From Home. Yeah. So. Let's end this podcast. episode, not the podcast.
See, I know where this podcast is going, so I'm not.
You know who wins? The fans.
Hey,
I think we all lost.
That guy wins. The boxer guy.
Seriously, dude.
Where can people find you guys?
Dude,
that was the most random thing I've seen.
I think I know why. Wait. I think I know why he was staring. He was looking at the Oreos. He's like, wait.
They have them.
I've been looking for those. They can find me in PJs at the Fulia 365 on Instagram and in the Fulia everywhere else.
At the Last Bosses Everywhere, I tried to change my PSN and I couldn't because...
You didn't?
Because I have it on another email. So I have it logged in. So I don't know if I can delete it and then use it. I don't know. I have to find out. It's a hassle.
You want to change your username though?
To the Last Bosses.
Oh, that's right. It's different. Okay, got it.
So I still have it. No one can take it.
The
Fulia Instagram.
You already screwed up, dude.
I think I did.
You just announced it to the world.
No, but I have it. I have two sign-ins. Yeah.
So I have in your own name is what's going on.
I've had it a long time, but
now you can't change it.
Different emails.
Sucks, dude.
Yeah, I don't think I can change it, but
because that name already exists. Unless he changes the original one, then he can, or the second one that he has.
You have to change both of them.
Yeah.
Change the one you.
Ooh, clever girl.
It's that Oreo smarts, bro. Oreo smarts.
Right when I change it, Vargas logs in, steals a swoop.
Just do it on stream so I can know when.
Oh, I forgot to talk about WrestleMania. Oh, Strap in, boys. No, it was a good show. That's all I'll say. It was a long show. It was 8 hours of fucking wrestling.
That guy won.
Yeah, it did.
The power kick one.
The Twitter.
I mean, a guy
Kofi
Kingston. He was the best match of the night, to be honest. Brock Lesnar, first match of the night. He's like, if the women are the last, I don't want to be second to last. We're doing our match first. He's got places to be. 10 minutes later, his match is over. He lost. All the other matches happen. Some good, some bad, but it was interesting. But
that first match was number one.
Yeah, it sucked though because Randy Orton had a match against AJ, and fans were booing, and I'm like, I don't understand. Why is everyone booing? It's a good match. I found out through tweets the lighting was blinding people in the audience. They couldn't see the match, and they were livid. The two wrestlers, they're like, the fuck, we put on like a 15-minute match. No one could even see it. Dang. So sucks. But there's a chance next year's in Tampa Bay. The following year's in it's up for debate, but it's potentially going to be around where we're at.
And you're going to go.
And I am fucking going.
How much are nosebleed tickets?
40.
Oh, that's not bad.
I'm getting. Shit. I want to get as close as I can get.
So
not like
140.
Not like the craziest front row seats like that. But I want decent seats. I know what decent seats are. They can probably be like 100.
You know what? You can get good seats if you take one of these to them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can get an Iron Throne.
That guy has tickets.
Iron Coin. Mm-hmm. Pencil Boy and that guy. Anyway, you find me at Cujo Prime. You can find us all at the Weekly DLC. This has been a long episode. Sorry for the fun. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. I guess you're okay with the coffee, but thank you all for joining. And until next time, we'll
DLC
you later.